What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special episode of Shonen N Chill. There is no official magazine release this week, just for, Christmas. There are spoilers out there, but just be careful, if you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
see them early. They're relatively easy to avoid unless you go looking for them.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to
Don't
talk
go
about
looking
a
for
little bit
spoilers.
of the releases, because there are three, and we're going to talk about one. So I guess very much a little bit. But Kaiju
Uh-huh.
number 8 did release on Christmas Eve. Spy Family released today. And then everybody's favorite series in the world, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, released straight up on Christmas Day. So how the
Just in
Grinch
time.
obliterated Christmas.
How
Um,
the Grinch Texas smashed Christmas.
so yeah, we'll jump into that, and then we'll move on to the. I'm sure some of you are, at least two of you are eagerly awaiting the answers to the question and answer segment. That will be after we talk about the greatest manga ever made.
Yes.
So, My
My
Hero Man,
Hero.
more
My
power to
Hero
you. I'm gonna let
Academia.
you go on this.
My Hero Academia. Vigilantes. I liked that we got to see Night Eye and All Might just kind of do their thing this chapter, because I think that's where Vigilantes shines, where it shows us stuff that the main series can never show us because it's past that point, and doing that in a flashback in the main series would kind of just not make any sense. But it's also information that we're actually kind of interested in. Like Night Eye and All Might's relationship was what we knew about it, at least, was interesting, and seeing them actually interact like this in past was pretty cool. And also, I liked seeing that All Might didn't always look like an emaciated corpse. Like that you can actually see the difference between his chill, relaxed form before the incident and after the incident. Like he isn't full muscle yet, but he's also very much relaxed and not in his full muscle form, and yet he's still really
Looks like a
buff
human
and doesn't.
being. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like that was cool. Um, All for One had a pretty cool speech about villains. Anyone who's disappointed that All for One is not the main villain of My Hero Academia, there you go. There you have your villain speech. And I have officially run out of nice things to say about this chapter. I managed for like a minute.
You did great. You did great,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, like I cannot tell you how little I care for what's happening in Vigilantes right now. Like dead ass. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit.
Yeah, it's the longest flashback ever, and just Jesus
Mhm.
Christ, I don't care at all.
Yeah. Like it doesn't help that it's what, a chapter every 2 weeks and like 40 pages at that, but nothing seems to happen in these chapters.
That's
It's
not even
literally
40
just
pages, man. It's like 19 pages.
it's 19. Oh, okay, then. Ugh.
It's barely anything
I
over
was
2 weeks, yeah.
That's crazy. But also explains my disappointment because really it feels like we're going nowhere.
Yeah,
Like
really, it feels like nothing is happening.
what happened this chapter was the fight continued. Bunny Girl, who had screamed for All Might last chapter, screams for him again. There's this weird thing where like every single piece of media in Japan turns into All Might to alert him that something's happening. And he has like the All Might sensor or whatever that shit is called. And he flies over and he arrives, and that's the chapter. Like, man, you really couldn't have given me any more substance.
Yeah, it was I don't really get the whole, oh my god, all of everything has turned into All Might, so that means All Might is coming? And
Yeah,
it's like
that's
even like billboards and signs and stuff all turn into him. And like
mhm.
all the train station things, instead of showing like where the trains are gonna go, it just says All Might on them. Um,
Man,
so
you're
that
like
I'm
on
sure
your
doesn't
way.
interfere with the day-to-day lives of people just trying to go to work at all.
You're like on your way to like that really important job interview, and you really need to know when that train leaves, and your train leaves at All Might is arriving.
Your
Damn.
yeah, your train is All Might and it leaves from gate All Might at All Might o'clock. Yeah, I'm sure that's helpful.
Yeah, what I think I've said it before. I really like how All Might is like this monolith in society that everything depends on, and how that is kind of presented as a bad thing that inevitably puts society on a path of destruction. Yeah, this is not what I meant.
Yeah, yeah,
This
I didn't
is
think Mickey Mouse turning into All Might was really what we were talking about.
Oh my God, like somewhere in the My Hero universe, someone's watching Jujutsu Kaisen and Maito just turns into All Might. That must be so disappointing, man.
All for a Vigilantes chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. I didn't have too much fun with it. What about you, Zen?
It was. I hate the way they draw All Might and Vigilantes. He looks so bad.
He looks very soft.
It's just, he actually like he looked better in his regular form than he did when he goes into like muscular mode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. He doesn't look good in
When he
Vigilantes.
goes into muscular mode, he looks like a wardrobe. Like he looks like a piece of furniture. He's so wide and so like massive to the point where it's really just disorienting. Like I have the same problem with Endeavor in Vigilantes. I just think Betancourt seems to have a weird way of showing like muscle mass, like extreme muscle mass, that just tends to look really goofy in a not so good way.
Yeah. Also, what in the world is the might? I know it was just like some silly fun thing, but like the
Mm-hmm.
might sense and then the might ears. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that he can literally sense when people need his help and also can hear them, like
I
Superman?
mean, there are people who say that that was actually, a little cheeky nod to Deku's danger sense. That's like All Might unknowingly tapping into it, and like, uh, I don't, I don't even know where to
Yeah, whatever,
begin to
man.
think of that.
Whatever
Yeah,
you need.
like,
And then the
yeah.
might signal is just turning the entire city into All Might. But how would he see that if he didn't have the superpower that let him already know that they needed help in Osaka before they turned it on? What good does that actually do?
I don't know. I'm sure there's like I'm sure there's someone whose like entire account is dedicated to vigilantes, who's gonna clip this and be like, how could they not know this? Like, just read. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't read with my eyes closed. I'm falling asleep.
Yeah,
Like,
this can't read
we,
this garbage.
yeah.
Why? And then he's like playing with Tinker Toys, which makes his villain speech really funny to me because I just imagine that while he's doing all of this, it's just Kurogiri watching him play with like baby toys, but
every
he's still
time he
trying like super evil and shit.
every time he has to make a point, he has to like find a new baby toy to play with. Otherwise, he just isn't in the zone.
It
That's
cuts
how you
to
get into
him
the zone.
in fucking Tartarus prison in the main series, and he's just got like an easy bake oven in there with him.
He has like one of those hats with the propellers on them on top.
That's how you
And
know
he's
shit's
like,
getting serious.
Kurogiri, let me tell you about the evil in mankind's heart. All right. Do we have any closing words on Vigs?
It's uh, it's less bad than usual, but only because it was kind of cute for like 3 pages.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Moving on,
Dun dun.
I think. Then,
Yeah.
moving on. What's the first question?
All right, let me pull up the Q&A page we got here, the Shonen N Chill Q&A list. So the very first question is, what is your first manga ever?
Oh, all right. Uh, Manga.
Yes.
I believe for me it would have to be Naruto. Because that's the first thing I sought the manga out for. Because I wanted to know what happens.
Ah, you were not
Yeah.
content waiting for the anime because there's
Well, yeah.
714 episodes of filler between.
There's that, and you also need to remember I did not live in a country with good licensing,
Oh,
so we
that's
would get like
true. Yeah, you didn't even have the chance to wait.
yeah, we would get them in seasons, and they would always air during school times, which means I had to pester my dad into recording anime. I had to pester my 60-year-old Catholic father into recording fucking blonde kid summons the devil every week. That wasn't the easiest thing to do. And and then it would always be the horrendous German dub. And that's how I watched it up until the start of the pain arc, pretty much.
Damn.
And yeah, like around that, I started trying to find the episodes online with like Japanese and the subs, and I caught up to it. Like it had just finished the pain arc in the anime, I believe. That's like 2010. And then I just like sought the manga online, first in German, and then when my English started getting good a couple of years later in English. And yeah, that's the first manga I ever read. The first manga I owned was My Hero, because
Okay,
physical manga just did not exist here until like very recently. So yeah,
that makes sense.
that's
That makes
my
sense.
my origin story. What about you, man?
My very first one, both physical or otherwise, was a Dragon Ball Z. The very first one, specifically Z. It was
Mhm.
the very first volume when Raditz lands and he and Goku and Piccolo fight.
All right.
Yeah, it
So
was just
the
I liked Dragon Ball. It was on Toonami. Well, Z
mhm,
was on Toonami because in America, Dragon Ball was just the comedic prequel to Dragon Ball Z.
mhm.
So Dragon Ball Z was on Toonami, and I was like 9 maybe, and I liked it, and so my family just got me one of the books because they didn't really know what it was. So they were like, "Okay, well here's this thing that has that guy on it that you like." And I was like, "Neat."
Nice.
Yeah,
That's that's sweet though.
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like most people don't have like I guess for a lot of people like the first manga they read is either they seek something out that they've seen before, or like someone buys them one just randomly. At least here in the Western hemisphere, I
Yeah,
can't I can't think someone specifically like choosing a manga because they wanted to read it. Like because as a kid, reading is. I mean, there are kids who really love to read, but it's not something you do as
yeah,
easily.
dweebs.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, depending on where you live, it's not the most obvious thing to find.
Right. Yeah, I mean there are definitely manga that I picked out later on in life where I was just like, "Oh, this looks cool. I'll just take this and read this later." But
Hmm.
definitely not my first one. I don't know if anyone's first one being one they just randomly picked up.
I don't know, like
I'm sure
if you
someone
did,
has, but
yeah, I mean, if you did, leave it in the comments, and we'll admire the fact that you had a bookstore nearby that actually sold those things.
also true.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw a manga in a bookstore, oh, I must have been, yeah, probably around the time where I sought out Naruto. Actually, like I must have been around 12 or something. And there was one shelf of it at our, I say local bookstore, but it was still like an hour away. And there was one shelf of it, and it was exclusively like romance manga in German.
Hmm.
Which, yeah, like, why did the Germans have a penchant for like romance manga but couldn't translate Naruto properly?
Not
Like,
enough romance in Naruto.
hidden
Not for lack of
agenda much?
trying for some reason in that series with 12-year-olds, but still.
Oh man, hey, Hinata confessing her love to Naruto and Naruto just forgetting for 500 chapters. That is peak writing.
I
I
know.
don't know what you're on
I
about.
like to think that he just played it off like he didn't hear her because he still thought he had a shot with Sakura, and he was like, "All right."
Well, no, the problem is that I think Naruto the Last confirms that the reason he doesn't bring it up is because he goes into like the Nine Tails right afterwards, and that distorts his memory. So he genuinely didn't remember. It's like, all right, all right.
Well, okay. If that's what it's got to be, I guess that's what it's got to be.
I mean, not to shit on the last. I really like the last. Actually, it's probably one of my favorite anime movies, even though it's nothing all that special, all things considered. I just really love it. There's something about adult Naruto not being a sad sack of shit that really
Yeah,
does hit.
yeah. I can definitely see how that would be appealing to have an older version of your main character that's not broken down by bureaucracy.
This is question one, by the way, and we've already reached Kishi
Oh,
slander.
I know.
It's
It's gonna be
insane.
bad through all these questions.
Yeah, especially because have you seen the next one?
Yeah, the next one. Let's go ahead and Oh
Yeah, let's
God.
let's
Okay.
let's
So question number 2 is what is one thing about One Piece that you genuinely do love?
tell us then.
Oh God. Okay, I have to go first on this one.
Yes.
Zoro. That dude's fucking balling. I love that guy. He's a beast, and that's all I got. Every time he's
Uh,
on panel, I'm like, One Piece ain't so bad. And then it shifts focus away from him, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is.
aw. Oh man. I actually have a couple of things I like about One Piece. Like
Oh my God, let's do it.
Yeah, like I know me hating One Piece is like a huge meme, but like what I've read of it, I've liked. The problem is there's so much of it, and in between the stuff that I like, there's so much I don't like.
Yeah,
So
I don't really think I hate One Piece either. I think it's just that I don't like it enough to care about a series with 1,000 chapters. If you're gonna get
exactly.
me in for 1,000 chapters, I need to be like in love with that series, and I am just like I middlingly accept One Piece. Like I read it and I was like, that's pretty alright, but
Yeah.
I would not. It didn't hook me enough to make me want to read for 7 years.
Yeah, I can't say I love One Piece. Like I'd buy it lunch and politely laugh at its jokes and hope it doesn't text me back. Like, so, No, but what I do like about One Piece is I love the Alabasta arc. I really like that arc, even though it is kind of long. I feel like it's the one longish arc that I actually enjoy because I just love Crocodile as a villain. He's super cool. Um, I liked what was it? The introduction arc for Sanji Baratie or Barati, however you pronounce it. Um, in general, I do like Sanji when he's not busy being a huge pervert. Um, and I mean, Luffy had like one moment in Alabasta again where he's like, I think he's talking to Vivi, and she's like, "Oh, I hope we can do this revolution without killing anyone." And Luffy just fucking punches her, and he's like, you do know we're outlaws. You do know we're pirates, and we're planning a violent revolution. There is no way no one's getting hurt. Grow up." I'm like, that is cool. I like that. That is a bit of characterization for Luffy that is really cool. It gives him like that angle where he's aware of his position in the world. I like that. I wish there was more than one instance of that, but hey.
Oh man, the
Um,
comments are about to explode with every single time that he's ever done anything vaguely like that.
it's all right. I stopped caring like 2 years ago. Like, no, I mean, I remember 2 years ago I was on a vacation in Sanremo in Italy, and I just spent most of my time on the beach on my tablet just reading One Piece. And I mean, that was fun. I even forced my sister to read a bit into it before I came to the conclusion that it's not worth it, and she did as well, independently of that, of course. I had no influence whatsoever. Um, and I guess just what I
This just
like
in:
about
Ocean Man taking One Piece away from One Piece fans.
sad
Sad,
exclamation mark,
terrible.
exposed, problematic. But like I think one thing I like about One Piece, or rather one thing that I can see why it makes it so like adored, is the fact that if you do end up liking One Piece and if you do get into it, there's so much shit for you to discover and for you to like dig your teeth into. Like that is genuinely wonderful if you can, you fall in love with a series and then you get to like sift through literal oceans of fan content, of additional info on the world and on the characters, on theories. And I think that is really great. And while I was like into One Piece for those like 2 months that I was reading it, I really liked that aspect of it too. Like I could just find endless amounts of stuff to read up on and get a deeper understanding for it. I mean, at the end of the day, most of it is kind of worthless flavor text, but if you are into it, I think there is a genuine value to be derived from that, and that, at the very least, even if I'm out of it now, I can appreciate or like respect, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. No such thing as worthless flavor text to the right person.
Exactly. But to me,
One
all of One
person's worthless
Piece,
flavor text is another person's 10-part YouTube series.
that is actually very accurate. Well, what can I say except that to me, all of One Piece is worthless flavor text. Dab.
Oh god. We don't edit
All
these,
right.
so I'm leaving all of that in.
I know, I know. My dab will be in.
The dab is not going anywhere.
No
All
dab
right.
censoring going around here. We are for free speech.
All right, let's go. Question number 3. In what
Hmm.
areas would you like to see the current Battle Shonen roster improve in order to enjoy them more? Examples being My Hero Academia, Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, or etc.
I love etc. It's my favorite show.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Oda can't keep up. But uh Okay, I feel like this has to be kind of on a case by case basis, right? Because like
Yeah,
I can't think
you
of
can't. There's
one
no
thing.
like universal answer for all of them.
Yeah. Although I guess one thing that I would like, at least in my hero and Black Clover, to kind of take more into consideration is kind of pace themselves a bit differently. Like Black Clover from the start, my biggest issue was the lightning fast pace. Like the fact that I would go from one thing to the next to the next to the next immediately without anything actually having the time to, really really sit with me. Um that was always a problem I had with Black Clover. And as of late, My Hero has also paced itself kind of weirdly, where it jumped into this war arc really quickly, but then the war arc felt kind of dragged on. So maybe pace is the magic word, but then again, I can't really apply it to Jujutsu Kaisen because Jujutsu Kaisen is just nonstop heat, and I don't care about the pace.
Yeah,
So
it's hard to hate the pace when it's always good.
yeah, I don't know. What would you improve about one of these or any
Um,
of these?
well, Black Clover, I don't even want to get started. For my hero, I think it's got to be consequences for people's
Mm.
actions. I know that in like the short term there have been some. I just want to see like every time there's a major consequence, I don't want it to be to a character who is relatively a background character in comparison to everybody else. Like the only thing I
Mm-hmm.
can think of that really hits like what I'm talking about was All Might losing his powers finally. But like
Mm-hmm.
even then, that was less like, uh-oh, he made a boo-boo choice and now he has to deal with it. It was we knew that was going to happen eventually at some point, and it was
Mm-hmm.
it was inevitable. So he made the right decision to pass his power on or whatever. Um, like I want to see Deku be like, oh my god, I can't use my right arm anymore for a while. That's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Or an arc where all of this stuff with Endeavor and Todoroki comes to a head in a way that's not dramatic villain doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I literally
Mm-hmm.
just want them to like deal with it. You know what I mean? It feels like a lot of the Endeavor stuff on like a personal level has been kind of working it out without talking about it or
Mm-hmm.
really examining it. Like Todoroki just seems like he doesn't really know how he feels about it, and Endeavor's just like, I don't even want to fix it. I just want you guys to be happy. But like, I don't know, man. I want some interpersonal drama about this where both of them have to kind of evaluate what it means. And like, I really want Shoto to have to kind of square up with the fact that like, even though it wasn't obviously intentional because he was a little kid, what happened to Toya is kind of partially air quotes his fault because if he didn't come out as the perfect quirk kid, Toya wouldn't have gotten abandoned or whatever. And like, I don't mean that in a sense that I agree with it, but like, that would be an interesting avenue to take that drama down a little bit of Todoroki kind of coming to terms with stuff outside of his control, but still impacted by him. I would enjoy
Mm-hmm.
that as well. I just need it to not go back to silly dumb shit, please, please,
Yeah, yeah. Like
please.
I think My Hero does have. My Hero has this thing where lately it has focused a lot on action, but honestly, I feel like it shines more in its conversations when they're actually about something. And like Endeavor and Shoto actually having to like talk things out properly and having to face, you know, the consequences of their past and having to actually, think about them. That would definitely be something good. Like I think it's probably coming. Like I can't imagine that we're gonna get past this next arc or whatever is coming up without this. Then again, I thought Eri was gonna have a full character arc, so I guess I'm the idiot.
Fool.
You fool!
My Hero
It was
Academia fraud. You don't
my
know
my
shit.
hero. My hero was bad from the start. I fooled you. Oh
uh,
my god! Like I saw someone. This is like completely off topic, but um, did you see the Kishimoto artwork of Naruto and My Hero characters that dropped recently?
maybe.
Yeah, like Deku and Tokoyami with Naruto and Shikamaru in like a manji pose.
No, I did not see that.
because it's like a collaboration. Yeah, someone under the like replies there was like, "Hey, Shikamaru kind of looks like that one for all user in the shadows, like the third one." And I'm like, "Oh my god, My Hero is actually the Naruto sequel we were supposed to get."
It's the real Boruto.
It's the real Boruto, aka Green Naruto.
It's really been Green Naruto this whole time. Deku
Haha,
is the
you
next
fool.
descendant of whatever the hell thing that Naruto inherited the soul of.
Quirks are actually just modern people misunderstanding chakra and thinking they can only use one jutsu at a time.
Oh my god. I need that. Need that expeditiously. Oh, good god.
Is there anything we would change about Jujutsu Kaisen?
Literally the only thing I don't like about Jujutsu Kaisen is it starts off a little wonky, but like, find me a manga that doesn't start off at least a little weird, and you're a legend. Every series has to find its footing. Other than that, I literally love everything about it. So
Yeah, like I can't really think of anything. Like the only thing I can think of maybe is like to have it explain itself a bit more occasionally, because, or rather explain itself in the correct order, because Jujutsu Kaisen does have the tendency to explain complicated things first and then wait for another like 50 chapters to explain the thing that complicated thing is based on. The best example being Gojo's ability, where it's like first we see his reverse curse technique, then we see his domain expansion, then we see his combination technique, and then we see his main curse technique that everything is based on. So like that's maybe a bit disorienting, but I mean, just like reread, it's not that difficult. Like I'm really like grasping at straws here to find something I would change. Like that's the only thing.
yeah, I
And I
can't
mean,
think of anything that I would change off the top of my head. I would, I guess, like Junpei's story to have been maybe dragged out a little bit longer.
yeah.
And I mean,
Now that the
I
anime is
understand his
out, yeah.
reasoning, because I mean, he said, I didn't spend all that much time characterizing him because when I had created him, I created him specifically for him to die. So like, I get it, but um, I don't know. I found Junpei's story quite sad, but I know that some other people didn't, just because they
Mm-hmm.
barely knew him. But so I could have seen that getting a little bit more attention, and the anime
Mm-hmm.
did expand on it a little bit. It gave it a few more scenes, but I don't know. Other than that, I think I kind of just like all of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, I suppose the conclusion is Jujutsu Kaisen GOAT. Who would have thought?
Yeah, shocker from this show.
Breaking news: Jujutsu Kaisen good? Question mark.
Jujutsu Kaisen actually good?
All these revelations. MHA bad, Jujutsu Kaisen good. Damn.
We figured it out. We've cracked the code thanks to the Q&A section.
Call CNN. Okay, what's the next
All
one?
right, the next question. What do you like more, seinen or shonen?
So, what do you like more, Zen?
Well, the show
Seinen or
is
shonen?
called Shonen N Chill.
Uh
So,
huh.
I don't mind seinen stuff to an extent. I think a lot of it has a tendency to be like a little too try hard edgy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are good seinen stuff. Like, I love the new JoJo stuff, which is all seinen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Attack on Titan is technically seinen, I think.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
It's not?
Shonen.
Really?
Shonen.
Okay.
It's published in Bisatsu Shonen magazine. Like
Shocker.
it's a shonen. Yeah.
What? There's one, I swear to God, that I thought was shonen that actually is labeled as seinen. Is it One Punch Man? It might be One
Could
Punch
be.
Man.
Yeah, I think it's One Punch Man.
Yeah, there's definitely one where I was like, there's no fucking way this is a seinen, and it actually is. So maybe it is One Punch Man.
Mm-hmm.
But like, a lot of it comes off as like, ugh. There's what's the Berserk always comes off as like, oh, that's edgy, and like, I don't really enjoy that part of it.
Uh huh.
Um, so like when seinen is used just to be like more mature, I guess it's fine. But then you have like One Punch Man, which is a seinen, and it looks like any child could read that and be fine. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I guess I don't know with seinen. I just prefer shonen because I like things that I already know.
Mm. Wait, before I give my answer, I just want so we have it out there for anyone who doesn't know. Shonen is manga for young teenage adolescent boys. Seinen is manga for adult men. Just
Correct.
because I realized we hadn't actually brought up the definition in
Oh
case
yeah, no,
anyone doesn't know
that's
what it
fair.
is.
Yeah, seinen is like your M-rated TV.
Yeah. Um, I fucking hate seinen for the exact reason you lined out. Like it's such a typical case where the more mature landscape is used for completely immature junk most of the time. You brought up Berserk, which is a super interesting example of a series that started out as immature junk, but has found its voice into, living up to the idea of being a mature series. Like early Berserk is rough. Early Berserk is very rough. It's pretty much exactly like the overly edgy, like bloody, gory nonsense that you would expect from seinen. Um, but as of late, when the chapters are actually coming out, it's actually very mature and very like understanding of what it can and can't do, as you should expect from a seinen, right? So, yeah, it's like seinen is one of those demographics where there's so much great stuff to be done, but very few people seem to be doing it. Like I remember my old Twitter friend Orphe used to recommend me seinen um a lot, and I remember like some of them were good, some of them were pretty decent, but a lot of them were really just like gore and violence and sexual violence for the sake of being shocking, and that's like that's teenager writing, right? That's
Right,
like
like that's my thing. Is like you see them all framed as like this is manga for adults, but like it's all just blood and rape, and like that's what 16-year-old boys think is dark and edgy stuff.
yeah, like I don't know, like does wait is Junji Ito's stuff published as seinen? Because if it is, I have to retract. Because Junji Ito fucking smacks.
That's a
Um,
good question. Let me look
I
that
mean,
up.
if he's published in any magazine, he's definitely seinen. But I don't know if he's published as a magazine or if he just drops his stories directly as booklets. I don't. I've never really engaged with that much. I've read his stories, but I don't know like the original release type, I guess.
Um, yeah, he was
Okay.
in a seinen magazine, and it's very fitting that the cover of the seinen magazine that he was published in is a girl in leather bondage clothes.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, that's seinen. That's seinen in a nutshell.
Yep.
Whereas, shonen has that thing where because you're more constrained with what you can show, I think a lot of authors are tickled into more productively creative works. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Jujutsu Kaisen could really work as a seinen, just because I think Gege already has a great handle on how to approach mature topics. I would also really love to see like Horikoshi do a seinen at one point, like a horror seinen from him. I think could be pretty cool because he doesn't seem overly enthusiastic about like edgy shit. He had to take a mental health break after writing Overhaul, so clearly he is not the type of guy to write early Berserk. Um,
Right.
but like a seinen, like I don't know, horror, like a seinen romance, even I would like to see from him because the thing with Hori, right, is that when he tends to writing characters and tends to writing interactions, I love that shit for the most part. And I would really love to see how that would be like, freed from the constraints of shonen. But then, in other cases, one could say that the constraints of shonen are what make most of these series as good as they are. Like, you probably know this better than I do, but like all these like Dragon Ball fan animations and fan mangas
Oh
where they're just like ripping
God,
each other
dude, don't
apart.
even
Yeah,
fucking. Yeah, Dragon Ball Multiverse where Vegito is beating Bara to death because she did something and he's real mad about it. And
yeah,
like, yeah,
like
he's going Super Saiyan 3 and violently beating his teenage daughter to death, or when Bojack snapped Pan's neck and shit. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like Piccolo gets like his skin flayed off of him. Like that
Hmm.
shit fucking sucks. It doesn't add
Yeah, it doesn't
anything.
do anything. And like Jujutsu Kaisen is the example I'm probably gonna use. Like that shit's pretty dark. Like
Yeah,
I had people talk about the Junpei thing. Like I'll go back to that. People are like, oh, I didn't really, it wasn't very emotional for me. I didn't really know him that well. And I was like, well, I think even if you don't know him that well, like if you really sit back and look at his story, like his story's fucked up.
yeah,
He's a kid who
it,
essentially is bullied into becoming a mass shooter.
yeah. He's
He
just.
only has one person in his life that he like loves, which is his mom. And
Mhm.
then Mahito manipulates him and kills her just to make him go and fight uh, Yuji. And then as soon as he thinks like, oh, you know, I could go to this place with Yuji and maybe finally find a single person other than my mom that gives a shit that I'm alive, he gets instantly killed by Mind. Like it's fucked up. And not a
It's
single person had to get raped to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, again, it's a very constrained type of suffering, isn't it? Like, it's not, there's blood everywhere and insides are sprawling out, and oh, look at this lady, she's naked and also dead, you know? It's like, you have this kid who's struggling with the realization that most of the world doesn't care about him and who has been pushed to essentially being radicalized into harming innocence. Like, and just at the cusp of him realizing that he was wrong, he gets killed. Like it's tragic and it's dark and it does that without having to be anything close to a seinen. So yeah,
Right.
seinen
And
bottom
like for
one.
me, that is relatable, like real life darkness is like, in the real world, when something awful happens, it's very rare. Like, I'm not saying it never happens, but it's very rarely like mother and four children found ripped limb from limb and werewolf attack. Like, it's like, a kid getting bullied at school. And then you check the news one day and that kid stole his dad's gun and he killed some people and now he's dead too. And like, what do you take from that? It's just a
Mm-hmm.
horrible, awful situation. And
Yeah.
that's to me like that's some real life like sadness, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to go full goblin slayer to to bring in darkness in a way that's believable and relatable.
Yeah. I mean, all those elements that we mentioned, like uh, gore and sexual violence and whatnot. Like, I'm not saying that those have no place in fiction.
Oh
Any
sure, yeah.
any
i
concept, you
i
can
just
make
think
that.
they are the most consistently used for quick shock. they
Yeah.
they're rarely used well.
Well, yeah, because you can do them without any actual skill. Like you can literally just plop in someone being disembodied or someone raping a woman. You can just do that. You don't need any like supporting writing. And I think that's why they're so often abused for shock value because with every other type of darkness, you do need a build up. You need some sort of actual writing in there. If you couldn't do something like the Junpei arc for shock value because it isn't shocking unless you know the whole story, and that takes consideration, that takes time, that takes an actual understanding of how people work under conditions like that. So yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like those elements do tend to see themselves be used in just the nastiest of ways. So yeah, no, I suppose it's a resounding win for Shonen.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's
go.
go, kid cartoons, we did it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when you actually talk to people who like seinen, you will notice a lot of them are not the target demographic.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. That makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense.
like the target demographic of seinen is supposedly adult men, but most of the people I've seen like get heavy into seinen are teenagers at
Late
15, 16.
teenagers, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's not bad. It's just an important thing to note if you want to talk about it in, the context of what it sets out to do. It sets out to appeal to adults, but it ends up appealing to a completely different demographic for reasons that are quite unglamorous, in my opinion.
Right,
Uh,
yeah.
and and I also think some people just really want to like seinen because they think it makes them seem more mature.
Yeah, I
Like
guess I
it's
can
the
see
whole
that.
It's the whole I go to bed at 10:30 and drink coffee thing all over
I
again,
drink
you know?
black coffee.
Oh my god.
What a badass.
What about
Absolute
I
beast.
I bought a condom at the convenience store and I only giggled 3 times. Deal with it.
I
Can
bought
one
a
buy
condom and I made sure to put it on top of all of the stuff I got at the 7-Eleven.
can one buy condoms at 7-Eleven?
I don't know. I don't think so. I always get mine
I've
at Target.
never I've never been to a 7-Eleven actually. I
There's
have no
not
clue
much
how
to
to.
it.
Okay, well,
It's basically a gas station without the gas.
damn. So it's
Yeah,
just a
it's
station.
just a station that has shitty stuff in it.
It's funny whenever I hear like or see like you Americans talk about like your shops and your restaurants especially, and I'm like, I know exactly what one of those is because we don't have them. We have
Oh, do
a
you guys not
single.
have Target?
We don't have Target.
Do you
We
have
have
Walmart?
no.
Do you know what a Walmart is?
I've been inside one once.
Okay, Target is Walmart for people who like to pretend they're not shopping at Walmart.
I see. I see.
Yeah, it's like if Walmart is for poor people, Target is for people who have just enough money to pretend they're not poor.
Okay. So like upper lower class. Is that it?
Yes, like yeah, lower middle class.
Lower slightly to the left diagonally class.
Yeah, vaguely adjacent class.
But yeah, like we have a single KFC in the entire country.
Huh.
Yeah, we
KFC
have.
sucks, so I hope you don't go to it.
I've never tried. We have like 2 Chick-fil-A's.
Chick-fil-A is way better than KFC.
All right. Oh, also because of our food regulations, everything tastes very different here compared to the US, which I can confirm personally because I love Burger King here, but Burger King in the US is literal like
Yeah,
trash.
Burger King here sucks.
Over here, it's like almost like a good burger, like
Really?
almost a proper burger.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that food regulations in your country require them to serve you actual food?
Yes. No. No
Crazy.
food. No food replacements. No pink slime. Nothing. Like that's not
Crazy.
allowed here. Yeah.
Yeah, here
And
it's all you
like,
get. You just get the pink slime, or you cook it
ah,
yourself.
blah,
Yeah, it's
gross.
not great.
But
It's not great.
then again, also all your bread has sugar in it. So
Yes, it does. Which kind of slaps. I don't even care.
I mean, it probably slaps if you grew up with it, but
Oh yeah,
like
it
if you
probably
have,
tastes super weird if you haven't.
it was like I remember the 2 times I've been to the US. Both times I just had to get acclimated to the morning bread because it just tastes so different.
Yeah, I've a bunch of people always like that's the factoid that Americans love to drop when they want to seem worldly on other Americans
Uh-huh.
is, did you know our bread is basically cake? And I'm like, that sounds awesome. Stop talking to me.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I remember the whole like food culture in America is so. Now, which word do I use? Do I use developed, which is positive, or excessive, which is negative? Because both of them kind of work.
Developed excessivity.
I
It's
guess.
it's
Yeah.
it's very excessive. We had so I don't know if you know very much about our politics. I guess you know a little bit because we talk
Yeah.
about
I
it all the
mean,
time.
mhm.
So you know who AOC is, right?
Of course, we
Of
invited
course you
her
do.
to the podcast.
That's right. We did invite her. She has not called us back, by the way, which is
Women really
I
just.
know women can't handle politics. Clearly, she's ducking us. Um,
We love women, by the way. Please don't.
yes,
Don't.
we're being very sarcastic. She's
Uh-huh.
like my favorite politician right now, which is a weird thing to say that I even like one. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
so she has this whole thing, the Green New Deal. I don't know if you've heard of that either.
Hmm.
But it's basically her plan for helping combat climate change and income inequality and yada yada. And so what Republicans that don't like her did is they held a big thing, like it's not a press con, I guess a rally is what you'd call it. And they
Hmm.
each got up on stage with a bag of fucking McDonald's hamburgers, and they each took a hamburger out and they would bite it and then they would pass it like it was weed or something. And they would each take a bite out of the McDonald's burger because part of the Green New Deal was cutting down on like the meat industry because it
Mhm.
fucks with the climate a lot because cows fart and shit all the time and it ruins
Mhm.
it ejects a lot of methane into the atmosphere. And they were like,
Mhm.
she'll never take our burgers, and they were like sitting on stage eating shitty McDonald's burgers as like the resistance. And it was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Ugh.
That's a smart thing to do during COVID
That's our
times.
fucking our country, man.
Truly, the global superpower that keeps
Never
us all
take our
safe.
fucking McDonald's double cheeseburgers. Oh, it was so funny, dude. They were sitting. I shouldn't have brought it up because now it's all I'm gonna think about all episode. They were just sitting on this stage at a podium. Actually, I think they weren't even sitting. They were like standing in a line, and they were just solemnly all taking a bite of this cheeseburger. Just stupid as shit.
In God we trust,
In
and
God
burger we
and
must.
McDonald's we trust.
Yeah, like you do know that every time I hear from what's happening on the other side of the Atlantic, I always it always sounds like a fever dream, not gonna lie.
Oh, it should. It's a fucking nightmare, dude.
Like, what the fuck are you guys up
Like,
to
what the
over
fuck
there?
is going on? Oh my god, that they posted that shit with their whole chest. Like, they'll never take
They're
away
like
our rights to fucking get a McDonald's Big Mac.
they were rubbing their hands, going like, "Ooh, they're gonna love this one."
That's dude. And the separatist people did. They were like, "Fuck yeah, down with
I,
liberals."
I guess that's what happens when you have a massive country of like 300 million people, and you're like all about freedom, and sometimes that freedom is the freedom to eat burgers on stage.
To eat fucking cheeseburgers on stage.
They couldn't even get good burgers, huh? They just had to get
No,
McDonald's.
well, they would have cost money and taken time to prepare, so they had to just get
That
McDonald's.
that's true. That's true. Um, actually, we had like a local little victory recently because one of the towns close by had two McDonald's in like 500-meter proximity, and like last year, a local burger joint opened, like actual handmade, wonderful burgers, absolutely fantastic. And within like 6 months, they like completely pushed McDonald's out of the town. Like there isn't
Nice.
one
That's the
anymore.
exact opposite of what happens here.
Ah, God. Yeah. Then again, burgers do be expensive over here, though. Like a burger meal will run you about $40 here.
Good God.
Yeah. It's actually pretty much exactly like $40 since francs and dollars are almost 1-to-1 now.
Damn.
So
But it's a
yeah.
real burger.
Well, even McDonald's will run you $20. So
Good God. For a pink slime burger?
well, for a real burger.
Oh,
Still, but
okay. Oh,
McDonald's
right, because they're not allowed to sub. I was about to say, if I'm paying $20 for pink slime, I'm just not going there.
Yeah, but I mean, everything's expensive here. Like cinema is $18 a ticket.
That's not that much more expensive than ours.
Oh, really?
It's like $14
I always
a ticket.
Oh, okay. I always get like really negative response to that one. How much is a pizza?
A delivery pizza or like a good pizza?
Let's say delivery.
A delivery pizza probably is like, after the delivery fees and stuff, probably like $20.
All right. How about you try 60?
Damn.
Yeah.
Is it good pizza though?
It's actually unironically great pizza.
Okay. See, our delivery pizza sucks ass. So.
Oh, yeah, because like our delivery pizza is the pizza my Italian dad prefers. So
Ah, yeah, no, our delivery pizza definitely came out of a freezer. Pre-made.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know
Some
what else
places
is
don't,
unfortunate?
because I know they like. Okay, to put in perspective, our delivery pizza. Do you guys have Little Caesars over there?
Nah.
So we have that here, and literally
Huh?
their big selling point is that you can just walk in and buy a pizza from under a heat lamp for $5. That's been sitting there all day.
Wait, that's a special thing?
That's their big selling point, is that they have
That
pizza sitting under a heat lamp that you can just walk in and buy already prepared.
Wait, do your grocery stores don't have built-in restaurants that do that?
No, not you. They have like delis where you can get like sandwiches.
Oh. Yeah, because most of our grocery stores have a built-in like restaurant inside of them. And some of them have like the heat lamp stuff, but then also you can request them to just cook something fresh for you. And they're actually
They
pretty
don't have
good.
like they have like hot food areas like chicken and individual pizza slices and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but no, Little Caesars' big thing is that you can come in and get a $5 pizza that's been sitting there for 4 hours.
Damn. That's innovative.
Mm-hmm.
But your cashiers still can't sit down, can
Still can't
they?
sit down. That would if the 75-year-old white woman thought that perhaps you weren't taking her grocery orders as seriously as you should be.
Damn. That's crazy.
I think we have one store that lets cashiers sit down now, and it's like a big deal. Everyone's like super hype about it, and it
That's
really makes me sad.
that is actually terrible. Like
Yeah, and I'm
Jesus
pretty sure
Christ.
it's a European store that just came over here.
Which is it?
I think it's like Aldi or something.
Oh yeah, yeah, we have that one.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
that one. And they
it's
actually have seats at their registers, and everyone's like, "Oh, but how do you know
that's
if they're working hard if they're not standing in the same spot for 9 hours?"
America really did take a big bite out of that meritocracy burger, didn't they?
Oh, dude, trying to convince people who have a little bit more money than no money that we do not have a meritocracy is very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the American dream is one sustained on drugs. The
Lies
the
in the
opium.
bones of poor people.
Yeah. Damn, this sure got very real.
Anyway,
Anyway, what's the
we were
next
on the
one?
seinen question, so
Yes, we were on the seinen question,
okay.
but I think we want to have a couple of these. Let's be real.
Yeah. So, all right, next question. Next question.
All right.
What series outside of Shonen Jump are you the most interested in reading?
For me, like series I haven't read yet, one that I'm curious about is Land of the Lustrous or Hoseki no Kuni, I believe it is the original name. Because the anime came out and it was fully CG, and I don't really jig with that, even though that anime looked pretty good. But I've heard people like go crazy over the manga, and I'm like, bet, let me try it out. And then I did the thing where I say that and never actually
Never
pick it
did it.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, aside from that, like right now, not much. Like, haven't had much time to think about what I'm going to read next.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
yeah. What about you?
I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but mine is probably Full Metal Alchemist. Never read it. I uh,
What?
I know, never read it. I've seen some episodes of the show. That's about it.
Uh-huh. Damn,
I know. That's a big
that
one. I know that's a
that's
big one.
wow. Ooh, wait. I could have almost like sworn you mentioned it at some point.
I know about it. Like I'm
Hmm.
aware of it as a thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I've seen a decent amount of the Brotherhood anime, but I've never
Hmm.
read the series. And I always enjoy reading
Okay.
a series more than I enjoy watching it.
Hmm.
And I didn't watch all of Brotherhood anyway. I watched like over half of it, but we never finished it because I got kind of bored.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense.
yeah, so I would like to read it because there's only so many times a series can be called the greatest series ever created before I at least try it. So
Yeah. Although the thing with Full Metal is, right? You watch it once and you love it, and then every single time you rewatch it, you notice more shit you don't like.
oh god, it's one of those.
Yeah,
So it's a
yeah,
one and
like
done series, is what you're saying.
pretty much like maybe it's just because I've rewatched it so much it's like the anime I force all my non-anime people friends to watch for the first time around because it's just a very digestible anime. If you're not into it, it has a good dub. It's not super high fantasy, so you can deal with that. But like, I've watched it so many times at this point, and I sort of got every single time after I finished it, it dropped in my ranking, like
Damn.
straight up. Yeah, like it's not bad. It's still a great show, but just every single time I go back to it, I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Like, I don't think I like this character that much. So yeah, just savor that first read.
Okay, really, really savor it and never touch it again.
Yeah, unless I don't know, Victor bullies you into it, but
He can't. He's
he
tried.
can't yet.
Can't be done.
Yeah, he has no power over you.
No, he's all about Yu-Gi-Oh now. So,
That's true. That's true. He's pushing
and I like
Yu-Gi-Oh
that
hard.
one. So,
Yeah, I haven't read Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's also something I'm interested in. Though I believe that is Shonen Jump.
Yu-Gi-Oh is
So
Shonen Jump, yeah. So it doesn't
yeah.
count, unfortunately, for this question.
Damn, I get
So
a 0.
So close, so close. You had
Yeah.
an answer. It counts.
God, I thought my exams were over.
Nope, you still got half of a quiz left to go.
Oh my God.
All right, next question. What are your thoughts on the current state of Shonen Jump?
What are your thoughts on the current state of Shonen Jump?
Pretty good. I don't hate it. Not the whole Act Age stuff really sucks a lot. Still not fully over that. Rest in peace. That was a good series. Not saying it didn't deserve to get taken down. Totally did. Fuck that guy. But it was a really good series, and now it's gone, and that sucks. But it has a good amount of series in it. I see a lot of people like constantly lamenting, like, "Oh, Chainsaw Man is gone. That's it. It's all over. They're never gonna match it again." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's so much good stuff in it right now." I still think they cancel shit a little too easily, except for Samurai 8, which they did not do it fast enough. But I think it's going pretty strong. I mean, if I were to count the series in it that I like versus the ones I don't like, it would definitely be more toward liking them than not. I think they take some cool series that are not quite as like generic. Child wants to be best thing, goes through trials to be best thing series lately, which is cool. Like, there's not that many. I think the only one I can think of off the top of my head is like Black Clover and My Hero, which have been out for so long that they don't really count for new series anyway.
I think both of them came out right around the time the main editor guy changed, which is
was
also
like
why
2014 or something. I think. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, MHA is 2014. Black Clover, I believe, is 2016 or 2015, something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. And yeah, and a lot of the new stuff is like, and it's all pretty varied. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel stale going from one series to the next and be like, oh, this is the same fucking thing. It's all unique and interesting. There's some that I don't like. Like, I'm not a big fan of Me and Roboco or Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin. But the rest of it's pretty good. I think it has some good younger stuff too. I think a lot of people, like, after Time Paradox Ghost Rider got canceled, I saw a lot of doom and gloom crying about, like, this is it. Yeah, they canceled the only creative thing they have left, and it's all battle shonen and all this from now on. And I'm like, man, come on. Like, you got Mashal, you got... There's a lot of series in here that are, like, 30 to 40 chapters or under that are really good. And I feel like people should read more of them because that's why they keep getting canceled, is y'all don't read them. And then they get canceled. And you're like, what the fuck? So, read more of them, please.
Yeah, read more weird shit in general. Like, watch and game more weird. People have such a hard-on for sticking to the most generic shit, but then being surprised that the weird stuff doesn't get as much shine.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, every time something comes out and it's like funky or like different and weird, they're like, wow, that's so weird. And they don't read it. And then it gets cut for not being read. And they're like, wow, I can't believe it. Can't believe this series that I haven't read yet, but I was totally got canceled.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, the whole doom and gloom about the current state of Shonen Jump for me has never made sense, because honestly, like, right now Shonen Jump is in a pretty great position. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's hitting more people than it ever has been, like, easily.
That It is still riding the success of one of the grandest properties they've ever owned, which is Demon Slayer. Like, it's doing phenomenal for the magazine because they of course still get money from it. Jujutsu Kaisen is blowing up right now and is actually apparently en route to outselling My Hero by the end of 2021 if it continues like this,
Good
which is
God.
just, it's insane. Yeah. So, and you have My Hero, which, despite it kind of losing a bit of steam in like its fan reception compared to like its high peaks, but everything does, it's still going very strong and is probably the closest you can get to like a global phenomenon anime slash manga in the vein of like the old big ones. And you have One Piece still going incredibly strong despite me cursing Oda every night before I go to sleep. um and you have a great variety of stuff that you can check out on it. Like Mashal and Undead Unluck, for example, are both what you could call comedy shonen, but they're completely different in how they do it, right? So I really don't agree that it's like in a bad state. I do think, though, as you've said, they are a bit quick on that axe, on that deletion trigger. Like, I mean, the best
Yeah, I
example
mean,
is,
when you see some series get canceled and it has like 12 chapters, you really wonder like how bad was it really doing? Was it
yeah,
losing you
exactly.
money? Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only one that had so little success that it really just needed to get canceled, well, there were two. One of them was Samurai 8, which that shit sold so poorly they were giving it out for free at some point. But it still stayed in the magazine for months because Kishimoto has mad
Kishimoto.
clout.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other one was, I think, Time Paradox Ghost Rider did fairly poorly because the Japanese really didn't like the whole
Oh
plagiarism,
yeah, they absolutely
whatever.
hated that shit, which I mean, there was no coming back from that after it happened.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it is a bit too quick. Like, especially like when you're in like the 12 chapter range, that like 12 chapters means your first volume has just come out and is just starting to sell. Like, it's way too early. And yet, Ghost Time Paradox Ghost Rider got canceled at chapter 14. So like they could have waited. They could have waited for like a second volume to see how it evolves.
Yeah,
And
and I
they
mean,
just
there were a
didn't.
lot of cancellations recently that were sub 20 chapters.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although
you
I
had Time
suppose.
Paradox, you had Bone Collection was 15, Guardian of the Witch was 19, Zipman
Hmm.
was 17.
Hmm.
It's like, man, I can think of a lot of series that I probably would not have liked if I had only been seven. Shit, I don't think by chapter 17 I loved Jujutsu Kaisen that much.
I don't know. Chapter 17 is the fight between Gojo and Jogo.
Is it really? Okay, then yes,
Yes.
never mind. Never mind. Fucking peak shit by chapter 17. Whew.
No one does it like Gege.
No one does it like Gege.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, then there are cancellations that make sense because like certain series just are junk. Like, what are you doing? Like the most recent one that's apparently is finishing its run in the next issue that's coming out in a week, but has already been announced, is a Gravity Boys.
Oh
That one's
god, really?
ending.
Finally, we've got there?
Yeah, in the
I
middle of
hate to
the
say
penis
finally
world
because that
arc.
sounds rude. I wasn't like wishing for it to fail, but like
Yeah,
I'm amazed it made it this far.
yeah. People are now disappointed that it got canceled in the middle of the penis world arc.
Ah, not Dictopia.
No, dude, they introduced a power system based on dicks. Like, you have like a fire penis, a darkness penis, a holy penis, a
Oh
lightning
my
penis, and
god,
they
the
give you
the
different.
dick of light.
Oh, bro, I would have that thunder penis, man. I love light. I love lightning abilities and everything. It's my jam. Like, you don't know how disappointed I was when I found out that Kaminari in MHA is just a side character.
It is irrelevant as all hell. Yeah.
Yeah, I love lightning ability. That's also why I loved fucking Tokyo Shinobi Squad, because the main guy had lightning abilities. But that shit got cancelled like 15 chapters in.
27. You got 27.
27? It
27.
didn't. Maybe I dropped it after 15 because that shit was actually kind of boring.
uh, Speaking of Tokyo
Exposed.
Shinobi Squad, Phantom Seer, pretty awesome.
Oh yeah,
Still good.
Phantom
I
Sea has
hear it's
also been
doing
really
well
good.
too, numbers
Yeah.
wise, which is good. It's good to hear.
Yeah. That I'm excited to check that one out when it has a few more chapters. Just because I can't get hurt again, Zen. I just
Says the
can't.
man that dropped it after 50.
Look, it's not my fault that joint was boring. Like Tokyo Shinobi Squad, as much as I love the premise, its cancellation actually did kind of make sense just because the fucking they wasted so much time on like a lot of irrelevant shit. There was like a fight with an ice guy that took like 10 chapters out of those 27.
God.
And it wasn't even like to advance the plot. It was like, oh yeah, this guy just really dislikes you, and he's gonna kill this model lady, and if she dies, we might lose funding, so you better protect her. And it was like, man, I don't care. This fight was cool for like 2 chapters, but can we get to the cool like world lore again, where like everyone is super racist? That was fun. But yeah, I suppose the current state of Shonen Jump is a lot of great stuff is in it, but you definitely need to give yourself a window of a couple of weeks before you get attached to anything new.
Yeah,
That's kind
if
of
you're in love with a series that's under, 30 chapters, you best have your seatbelt on while you're reading it.
yeah. All right. Do we want to jump to the next one?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the next question, this is a doozy. If you
Hmm.
could write a manga, what would it be about?
Oh, I'd probably just go for high fantasy. Like it's just my favorite setting for everything. High fantasy or straight up science fiction. Like just the like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Probably science fiction just because there isn't a good lot of good science fiction manga out. Like
Yeah,
there's
there's
a
really
weird
a
like
Gravity Boys.
yeah, exactly. Like there's this weird gap. Whereas like there is no good like battle shonen science fiction manga. Which is weird, right? Like it's
Yeah,
one of
you'd
the
think
big
there would
like
be. Well, I mean, I still to this day stand by that the best science fiction anime is Star Wars. So,
okay.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. But yeah, like science fiction, something like with alien planets, like discovering different planets would be kind of cool.
yeah, it is
Like
weird that there's not more of that stuff.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, just
Maybe I wonder if it's a cultural thing because like there's a million things with like ghouls and demons, but you could write the exact same thing, but just from the prospect of them being aliens instead. No, you know who is the the aliens are the fucking the Otsuki people from Naruto. Those guys are aliens.
I can't believe Boruto is a science fiction manga. I suddenly don't want to write one anymore.
I guess Dragon Ball is also more aliens than most.
Yeah, I suppose like the new like granola arc is kind of science fiction with the guy like shooting
Fucking
people in a
granola arc.
spaceship.
I can't. God, why does his name that? He's really cool, other than his name.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Ugh.
He's just very healthy and full of nutrients.
It's like having the super cool character and then you name him like Cotton Candy. Like, man, come on.
I am the destroyer of worlds. Call me Kevin. Do you have that in the US where Kevin is like the universal name for stupid people?
There was Kevin is one of them. It gets picked up a lot. There's a lot of like generic dumb names here.
Mhm.
The Karen one is obviously our big one. That's our
Oh yeah,
that's
of
our
course.
generic blanket name for bitchy white women.
Yeah, but I mean that's something very specific. Here, Kevin is literally just a name you call someone. Like it's literally an insult if you call someone a Kevin.
I think there was a comedian that had a sketch here for a while about Kevin being the friend nobody likes.
Okay, maybe.
Was it Dane Cook? I feel like it was Dane Cook, which makes me sad that I remember a Dane Cook sketch.
We have like I think the female equivalent for us is Chantal, but I don't think that's even a name that's used over there, right?
That's used a little bit, yeah. I've known
Chantal?
people named that, yeah.
Oh damn.
I don't know
World's a
if they were
small
like
place.
from here or from over there and they just like moved here or something, but I have
Yeah,
heard the name used, yes.
yeah, because that's kind of that's like a typical like Central European name. not necessarily like an Anglophone one, but we're getting
Well,
into
we have a lot of
etymology here.
people that like to pretend they're European.
I mean, to be completely fair, most of you were European once upon a
We
time.
were, and then America loves to get off on how much it hates Europe because we totally are way better and we left. But then also we like to be like, but also we're very classy like them.
Yeah, I mean, here in Europe, we really love to pretend that America is irredeemably evil. And it's
Well,
like, guys, they learned it from somewhere.
yeah, that's the problem. You're not
Like,
wrong. It's just you're not getting the big picture.
like, yes, they copied everything from us, even our disgusting imperialism that, we started. Like, what are you,
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
it
Though
is what it is.
I did find out that apparently in America there is a city or a town that's named after the province I live in here in Switzerland.
What is that?
Like New Argau or New Argovia, it should be. I remember my like geography teacher at school saying that that exists, and that like I don't know if it's
How do you
true because
spell
that
that?
guy. Wait, let me because I don't know what he said if it was the international name or the German name, but it should be like New Argovia, I believe. But as I said, that guy was kind of insane, so I don't know how serious he was, but that's always stuck with me as like how people think of the US over here as like everything's been copied. We're the original.
Yeah, well, you certainly are the original evil. You're
Hey
the Dr.
man,
Giro to our cell.
damn, you get to be the cool alien, I get to be the old man.
Yeah, you get to be the old man dressed like a clown.
What can I say? I believe clowns were invented in France, so that's just who we are, I guess.
It's your real heritage.
Yeah. What would you write a manga about, dude?
That's a good question. I would probably lean toward like a contemporary fantasy type deal. Maybe not like a direct sort of like My Hero or Jujutsu Kaisen kind of thing. But I always like the prospect of like there's the real world and shit happening in the real world, but then there's like all this other shit that's also happening, almost like a Yu Yu Hakusho esque thing, where like the
Yeah.
real world people just don't fucking know, but there's also
Mm-hmm.
this whole other like shadow world type deal going on with. I don't know. That's not a very good explanation, but that's the type of story that I generally like is like contemporary, but the world is actually exciting and interesting and not boring and shitty.
Yeah, okay. So like what one would call urban fantasy.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Like high fantasy can sometimes get a little awkward for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love Final Fantasy 14, but there's like a couple characters that talk like prithee, put thine eyes upon, and I'm like I can't. Nope. I'm out.
Oh no, I
Uh,
love that.
no, I can't do it. I can do it like in short doses, but
Uh-huh.
he'll talk for like 15 minutes, and I'm like I need to do something else now. um, and then sci-fi just sucks a lot. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
really good, but sci-fi I feel like is the poster boy genre for like not being good at it.
Yeah, I do feel you. I do feel you on that. There's a lot of like schlock, but then again, so is for high fantasy, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, there's
Like
probably a lot of schlock in anything. It's just I feel like it's very visible in sci-fi.
maybe, but I mean, if you think about how many like writers start out with basically just remaking Lord of the Rings in their own
That's
words.
true.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. Everyone has to start somewhere, but Lord of the Rings is 80, no, yeah, 80 years old. Like we can move on, fellas.
Yeah, well, that I mean, not really, because you got to get popular before you can move on, and the only way to get popular is just to remake something everybody already likes.
That's very true and also very depressing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Uh, do we want to cheer ourselves up with the next question
Yeah,
then?
I like the next question.
All right.
What
Oh,
Weekly Shonen Jump series has the best female characters?
oh. What Weekly Shonen Jump series has the female best characters then?
Well, Act Age I'm saying does not count because it is dead now. Never heard of her.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea that there's a series named that for copyright
Uh-huh.
and so we can't be sued for acknowledging its existence. Um,
Obviously.
so the
That's how
correct
that
answer now
works.
is Jujutsu Kaisen, baby. Hey! Nobara is like my favorite female character outside of Act Age for like a long time. She's awesome.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the other female characters aren't bad either. Like Maki's dope. I don't know. There's no. I think maybe it's just because Jujutsu Kaisen is a very like a romantic series where like
Mm-hmm.
relationships are acknowledged, but they're rarely a character goal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobara reminds me of like if you take Sakura from Naruto, and you know that
Mm-hmm.
stupid internal monologue joke they had with her for a long time.
Yeah.
Nobara reminds me of her internal monologue if her entire personality wasn't based around fucking Sasuke.
That that does have something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
can you
something
see it a
there.
little bit? Like it's like if Sakura had a personality that wasn't about trying to get some Sasuke baby, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and she was and not trying to be a good girl, like if it was inner Sakura but not mindlessly horny, then
Mm-hmm.
that's what Nobara is, and I love it.
Mm.
Because my
Yeah.
thing for a female character is one, they can't be obsessed with a dude because as soon as their entire character is just like Hinata, like, oh my god, I only exist to talk about how great Naruto is. I love him so much. I'm like, shut up, get out of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
two, they can't be violently dude-esque either. Like as
Mm-hmm.
soon as you write a character that just acts and is a guy, but you make it a girl and you try to say like look at my strong, well written female character. Like, it's fine and I don't hate it, but I feel like it ignores the fact that girls aren't guys. And I don't mean
Mm-hmm.
that in a weird Stephen Molyneux kind of way, but just
Mm-hmm.
like there are things that make a strong female character different from a male character. And you don't have to write her like a boy to make her unique and strong and interesting. She can still be feminine and be a good character. And I think Nobara is a
Mm-hmm.
great balance of that. Like, she's very fashionable and stuff with all of her outfits, but she does it's not like, hey, look, my fashion outfit is a bikini top and short jean shorts and stuff. Like, she gets like it's like if characters had Bleach outfits, but they weren't treated like women are in Bleach.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I think what makes Nobara so like different as well is that she's basically not sexualized whatsoever. Like,
Right, yeah,
she
like
just
every time they
wears the
show her in a
uniform.
fancy outfit, it's like a sweater and like leggings and like a long skirt. And it looks
Yeah.
good. It looks really good, but none of it is like, whoa, look at her quintuple D titties in this bikini that's barely holding them in.
Mm-hmm.
She's like not sexualized. She's a fighter. She's a great physical fighter, but not like a super ripped guy who loves martial arts. Like she has a feminine personality, but isn't like hyper girly to the point where all she cares about is like being hot and getting dudes. Like she's just awesome. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, I like with her basically that she's a shonen supportive character first and a female character second. And I think because the way I mean this is that she basically goes through the motions of being a shonen character, and then occasionally in between, she mentions or she does something that reminds you that she's a girl. And I think that that's really cool. Like when she has, she's doing that whole thing where she's trying to set Yuji up with his old schoolmate in that one like slice of life chapter he got right before
Yeah,
the
in the
Gojo
in the
arc.
diner. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, for most of that, she's just a supportive, dumb, idiot shonen friend, right? And then just at the end, she's like, I couldn't bear it if Yuji got a girlfriend before I got a boyfriend. It's like it's that sort of romantic competitiveness suddenly, where it's like, oh yeah, she's just, associated with female traits. Or
Right.
like, when she brings up her fashionability, it's not something that defines her character. It's just something that informs the fact that she likes looking fashionable. But it's not something that like she brings up all the time. Um, I think that just makes her feel like more respected within her series, I guess. Like
Yeah,
her
and
actions.
again, maybe it's because the series is largely asexual, but like you never feel like she exists only for these dude characters to like come and get a little reaffirmation on the side. Like Naruto women, except maybe Tamari, but kind of Tamari too, seem to only really exist to like show up and be sad over the boys and give the boys
Mhm.
some measure of like, I feel better now that a pretty lady has told me I'm great. So I'm going to
Mhm.
continue to go carry the remainder of the plot by myself.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
the only one I can think of off the top of my head that isn't like that is maybe Ten, but she has no character, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, saying Tenten is the only one that doesn't fall into that category is kind of like saying a character that wasn't even written
Right,
into the
a character
story.
that doesn't exist falls into that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, my God, like, have you ever gone and watched like the Naruto fillers?
I've seen a few, but
Yeah,
I duck and ran mostly.
like Tenten is so funny because she has no characterization in the canon, but she gets quite a bit of characterization in filler, and she's just like the worst person in existence. In the first filler arc after Sasuke leaves, they find like a disabled boy, and she literally tells him, "You can't walk. You suck. You can't walk because you suck, and we should kill you because of it." It's like the most
Oh my
wildly
god,
fucked up shit in existence. And
Jesus!
her justification for it isn't even like, "Let me put you out of your misery." It's literally like, "I hate looking at weak men." Like, it's so fucking funny, and it keeps happening. Like, there's so many arcs where she says something like super fucked up and no one mentions it. And
That's amazing. I
I
love
want to
her
know,
now.
like the meeting that took place like at the start of Naruto, where they're like, "Okay, so we're gonna make Tenten an ableist piece of shit because Kishi couldn't bother to write her properly."
uh,
Uh, Like, oh my God, I remember because I was doing my watch through, and like she like dropped that, and I had to like stop and go back, and then I had to like, because I was watching the dub, and then I had to like go find the Japanese version just to check that that's actually what she says, and it actually is what she says. It's just so weird. If people want to check, it's like halfway through the fucking Kurosuke family removal arc. This is part one, like after Sasuke leaves, one of those arcs.
that's so wild.
Tenten is actually the best female character ever written.
Who knew Ten was actually good? That's crazy. Oh man.
Uh,
So what's your
okay.
pick for the best female representation in Jump?
Like right now, I'd probably have to go with Nobara as well. Like,
Hell yeah, boys.
it's not like there's much competition, to be
There's really
honest.
not.
Like,
It's rough. With Chainsaw Man being over, I think Chainsaw Man had some pretty good girls, but it's over. Um,
yeah.
like Makima, I kind of had this conversation on Twitter the other day where someone was like, "I think Makima is better, but she's over now." But Makima's weird because to me, she doesn't really feel like a person.
Yeah.
She's like
Yeah,
some
I
kind
can
of
see
like,
that.
but you know who does? And I mean, it was all fake, so it didn't really matter. But like, Reese was really good. Those chapters
Mm-hmm.
with her and Yuji were awesome. And I actually think Power is not a bad female character. She's really bombastic and like over the top, but I don't think she's a bad female character at all. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that. I
Demon
I
Slayer didn't
actually,
really have any girls except maybe Shinobu that were okay.
yeah. I do like but I don't know how much that goes in like good female character. I like Mirko from My Hero just because she's like so like something we just don't see in Jump very often, I feel like just a complete badass who happens to also be a woman. Like, yeah, her outfit is sexualized, but I feel like it's kind of excusable considering the context of My Hero, where it's like you have to stand out with your costume or with your ability. So I'm willing to kind of let that one slide. And if you like ignore that, she is super cool. I like her. And I like the fact that she isn't really treated as like a woman. Like, she isn't treated as, oh, this sexualized object past her costume. She's just a complete badass who demolishes a bunch of Nomu by herself, with
Yeah,
some
I
really
think
cool
she does
moves.
fall into the trap of kind of just being written like a boy. Like she just feels like Bakugo with titties, kind of. But
That
also,
is
she's
also true.
such a not major character that almost feels a little bit unfair because they just don't have time to. She barely exists in the narrative, I guess is what I'm saying. So it feels unfair to be like, oh, they haven't fleshed out her characterization to make her sufficiently feminine. Like she's been in 17 panels.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But for what she's been in, I do really like her. I
And
think
I'm
it's
about to blow some
interesting.
minds here, but one that I left off, I don't think it counts now because it's so long ago. Um, but early One Piece Nami is an awesome girl character. Before she became a stick figure with massive watermelon titties,
Uh-huh.
that wears a bikini only, she was
Mm-hmm.
dope. Like when she was just like when she first was around, and she was like the smartest one of the group, and she was basically the only reason that Luffy and Zoro didn't die at sea like idiots in a tiny
Mm-hmm.
dinghy. It was so good, and like the one of my favorite parts in early One Piece is when she's trying so hard to be tough and like she doesn't need anybody, and she finally
Mm-hmm.
lets that moment of vulnerability slip and asks them to help her with Arlong, and Luffy
Mm-hmm.
is like, "We're gonna go fuck them up now for you." Like I love early Nami. If One Piece stayed as good as it was with Nami instead of just making every single other character's backstory a rehash of hers but shittier, I would be all about it.
Mm. Okay. Okay, I guess I can see that. I'm not super hot on Nami because I just cannot stand her personality. Like she is like the worst type of like cocky and annoying character, male or female. I really just cannot deal with that. But like as a like character quality wise, I can agree definitely that she did kind of fill a pretty good role in the story like that.
Yeah,
But
she
yeah,
because even when she finally like asked them for help, it wasn't in like a damsel in distress kind of way. It was like she did everything she could for so long by herself that
mhm,
finally like she needed help. It was portrayed almost, like any other shonen backup character like finally asking the protagonist like help me. It was no different than Zoro about to get executed and Luffy went to help him too.
mhm,
She wasn't portrayed in like a weak feminine lady needs to get rescued by a big, strong, bouncy boy. It was really good. And now she's
mhm.
a fucking bikini wearing watermelon booby nightmare looking monster. But old Nami was dope.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I do feel you on that one, definitely. Uh, anything else, or do we want to hop
No,
over?
we can hop on to the next one. So,
All right.
what do you want and expect from Chainsaw Man Part 2?
What do we want to expect from Chainsaw Man Part 2?
That's a tough question because I don't ever want to say what I expect from Fujimoto because it's not going to be what I get. But what I
Mm-hmm.
get, it's going to be way better than what I wanted anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would just like it to kind of just keep exploring Denji. I don't think I need like a lot of the old characters back. I know a lot of people are like banking on early part two being about getting power back, but I don't know that I need that. Not that I would be mad if she came back because I love power. That'd be awesome. But like, I would like to just see this new like mature grown up Denji doing big boy things and raising his creepy monster child.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see her be a character. I hope that she's not like his morality pet and that's all. Like I hope she has a
Mm-hmm.
legitimate role in the story and is a real character and isn't just like Maki Matu where she's like this kind of monster lady who
Mm-hmm.
sometimes speaks like a person.
Mm-hmm.
That's it,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, because the thing is, right, we kind of do know what to expect because I believe Fujimoto has commented on it.
Well, I think he
That
said
give,
it's going to be Deku in, or not I said Deku, Denji in high school.
yeah, pretty much. Like, I do think that's kind of where we're headed since we said that. Um, but yeah, I just kind of want to see Denji progress through life. I definitely don't. I don't know if I don't want another, like a new protagonist or something, like later down the line, because parts immediately has the JoJo connotation. Um,
Yeah, which I don't know that that's going to happen ever. Like, because you can only do so many parts with Denji as the main character before the series becomes like inevitably tied to him, which I think is fine. I love
Mhm.
Denshi, so it doesn't matter to me. Um, but I think like a boatload of people see part 2 and they're like, "Oh my god, who's the new Chainsaw Man?" But that's a pretty uniquely JoJo thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
that's
there's
true, I
not a whole
suppose.
lot of series that are divided up into parts and are just like borderline entirely new stories every time.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I suppose as you said, the same trying to get expectations for something written by Fujimoto is difficult. Like I guess what I want from it is to just continue being as good as it was, just continue investigating those topics and continue giving me these existential crises. And whichever form that ends up taking, I'm I'm good with that.
Yeah, I like that answer. I think that like I don't want to put too much on Chainsaw Man Part 2 because part of what made Chainsaw Man so great was that I spent every week going, "Oh my god, what's going on?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so if I
right.
if I try to write Chainsaw Man Part 2 into a box, I don't think I'll be happy with it no matter what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel yeah. All right. What's next on the
Oh
agenda?
god, this one. Okay. If you had to choose between My Hero Academia Vigilantes and Dragon Ball Super, which one would you choose? I like how Boruto was not even an option.
I mean, that would have been kind of cruel, wouldn't it?
That's a little unfair. All right, I think I know which one you're gonna take, but which one do you prefer?
I probably Vigilantes just because I like the MHA universe more than I do the Dragon Ball one. Like, but at the same time, I feel like Dragon Ball Super has had cooler parts of it,
Yeah,
but
I think Dragon Ball Super has definitely peaked a whole lot higher than Vigilantes has even come close to.
yeah,
I think Dragon Ball
yeah.
Super is just really easy to meme because, like, one, it's not even really written by the guy anymore. It's written by a fan, so a lot of stuff comes off as like fan fictiony.
Hmm.
Um, and two, like, they're balls afraid of making any character actually develop because it's a super old series and everybody likes characters for why they liked them 20 years ago. So like
Hmm.
if you develop Vegeta into like a relatively chill, nice guy in his old age, like nobody wants that. They want him to be the edgy, cocky asshole who gets his shit pushed in and then rescued by Goku every 2 weeks. Like it is what it is. And I think that Dragon Ball Super, like, because it's in this weird quasi space of like in between the end of Boo and the end of Z, but there's nothing really canon post Z because GT is just an anime thing. It's not actively harming anything. Where it feels
Hmm.
like My Hero Vigilantes makes actual My Hero worse sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you. I feel you.
Like sometimes I read Vigilantes and I'm like, oh god, is this what it is? Like I feel like the Kurogiri thing was irreparably ruined by being a Vigilantes tie-in. I don't think there's
Hmm.
any way that you can make that better without removing it from Vigilantes in its entirety.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I do
another way
feel
to put
that.
it, maybe for me, is that if Dragon Ball Super was just labeled like Dragon Ball Heroes, the anime
Mhm.
spin-off of just like silly shit happening, I'd probably like it a lot. The only thing I really don't like about it is that it's labeled as like an official continuation. So all the character development that's getting fucking ignored in order to maintain the status quo feels shitty. But
Hmm.
if it was written as like a collection of stories of just like here's a Goku from this place, here's the Z Warriors from Marvel Ultimate Universe Earth 1645 doing this, I would probably like it a lot. Well, more because I do
Hmm.
like it. I think that I often get lumped in as like a super hater. I don't hate it. I just don't love it.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I would have to go with Super if I really think about it, because I have enjoyed parts of Super more than I've enjoyed any parts of Vigilantes. So I suppose it is a wash.
Yeah, I think that there's reasoning for both being better than the other. Like I think early
Hmm.
Vigilantes was really cool and kind of unique and interesting, and Super never felt particularly unique. It always just kind of felt like a rehash of stuff from earlier Dragon Ball. I think the closest it
Mhm.
got to being like unique was probably like Ultra Instinct, I guess, is pretty
Mhm.
cool. Um, but other than that, it just kind of feels like more Dragon Ball. But I like Dragon Ball, so more Dragon Ball isn't the worst thing for me. But I don't know. It could be either one. My personal leaning is toward Super, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with that, honestly. Yeah.
all right.
What?
So the next one, this one's a weird one to parse. So I'm gonna reword it a little bit. So the actual question is, what manga volume cover means the most to you? Which I guess means like strikes you in your emotional core. But
Mhm.
it's probably there might not be that many. So I'm gonna reword it to what's your favorite. If there is one that hits you on an emotional level, because I actually do have one that
Oh, okay.
I that gives me a little tug in the heartstrings. But
Mhm.
if you do not, feel free to just use your favorite.
Uh, I don't know really. Like, I really love My Hero Volume 21, which is Endeavor and Hawks, because that is just such a phenomenal composition. Like, that is one of Hori's best drawings ever. And I would say the same thing probably about Volume 27, which is Hawks versus Twice. I would say the same for actually a lot of My Hero volumes after the overhaul arc, pretty much. So I don't know, like volume covers. A, a lot of the series I like are really blessed with great volume covers. Like even Attack on Titan, which is by all intents and purposes a bit of an ugly manga, does have some pretty good volume covers. Uh, I don't know, like isolating one, and especially when it like means anything to me, like I'm a grown man. My emotions died. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah, my emotions died with capitalism when I when I entered the workforce.
Yeah,
Um, for
but yeah,
me,
I suppose
Rurouni Kenshin Volume 28. It's the only
28.
volume cover that I get even remotely emotional toward. It's the
Mm-hmm.
final volume of Rurouni Kenshin, and it's not even like, I mean, Watsuki's art is really good. I Please don't get mad at me, internet, for praising him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like Rurouni Kenshin's a super emotionally draining story. Like everything's just always bad all the time for this fucking guy. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like finally happy, and it's literally just him like looking up with sunlight on him, and the lady that he loves is imposed behind him, and it's really sweet. And it's like, oh, this dude who this whole series has been about him like fucking hating his life and like wanting to die, basically doing something good, and now he's finally like happy and he has a reason to want to keep going. It's really sweet, and it makes me
Oh,
glad.
yeah. Just Google it. It looks nice.
Yeah. So there you
Well,
go.
that's wholesome.
Yeah, it's a very wholesome one.
Mm.
Every other volume cover, I feel like most volume covers are just like there to look really badass. Like every Jujutsu Kaisen volume cover is cool, but it's all just like character looking dope.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
I ain't hating it, but
Yeah, it definitely is like a pattern that it has, but it seems like every 10 volumes the pattern changes slightly. Like first it was like mid distance shots, now it's relatively close shots in the tens. So I guess we'll see
yeah, we'll
if
see where
once
it
we get to
goes.
volume 20. Yeah.
What it does.
Yeah, let's see what Gege has in store for us.
All right, next question. Thoughts on the Jujutsu Kaisen anime?
Boy, I do wonder what the answers to this one's gonna look like.
Terrible. Boo.
Oh, awful, bad adaptation. Uh,
Garbage.
terrible.
Oh, I love it
No,
so
it's
much.
it's so good.
It's super good. Like I am totally down with criticism of Mappa as like as a company, and like I totally vibe with that. But as a
Mhm.
standalone product, God, it's good. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean they managed to fucking get Hironori Tanaka for the Mahito fight, which if that guy is like rare to have on your show and he's super good. So if you manage to get him, that usually means you're doing something right. Like, it's so good. Like
It's
the
super
mood
fucking good.
yeah, the mood is handled perfectly. It's like that perfect blend of dark fantasy and crackhead energy.
Yep. That's a
It's
great
just
way to put
perfect.
it.
Yeah, and the animation is consistently great. The only thing I maybe don't like is some of the music placement.
It can be a
Like
little
some
off.
of the,
There was also some funky CGI in the Mahito fight that
yeah.
was a little weird. I don't even know if it was necessarily bad CGI, but it just felt out of place.
Hmm.
Um, and they tend to do a little bit of like weird airbrushing here and there. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's to save time or what. But I mean, 9.5 out of 10 for me. I love it.
Yeah. Fantastic adaptation. Uh, I guess we're just moving on immediately because I mean, honestly, we're just gonna be talking. We're just gonna be saying various versions of raw goat swag
Yeah,
for
that's
like the
true.
next seven
I'm not
minutes.
opposed to saying that for another 20 minutes, but yeah, I guess we should move on.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a visual technique that you really love seeing used in manga?
For me, that would have to be like super raw, sketchy panels or like inky panels for like big emotional moments.
So
Jujutsu
so like
Kaisen.
less a less refined panel for like an emotionally turmoil moment.
Yes. Yes, like for example, when Yuji gets angry over Junpei, and the manga goes even more sketchy than it was before. Like I love that shit.
Ah,
That's
that
my
panel's
crack.
so good. You talking about
Yeah.
the "I'll kill you" panel?
That one and also like the one where Maito says you can now see the contour of your soul. And like he's
Yes, and it's just his eyes and oh, it's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's good shit, man.
It's some really good shit. But yeah, aside from that, I guess I love full 2-page double spreads. They're just really cool. And they're really good for me as a YouTuber because usually you can use them for like thumbnails.
Yeah, they're like the exact size and shape.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty cool. Uh, but aside from that, like specific techniques, I don't know.
I really
Like a cat.
like I don't know if this is the right phrasing, but like really creative paneling. Like I love when panels are made in a very specific like fancy way that has a touch of individuality for the series. Sometimes it doesn't work out great. Like the first one that jumps to mind that doesn't work out great is the My Hero panel where the panel dividers are Overhaul's fingers.
Hmm.
Oh, that
Oh
was a
yeah,
clusterfuck. But like
yeah.
in Jujutsu Kaisen, when the panel dividers are the claps from Toto doing Boogie Woogie, I love that
Uh huh.
shit. I love the panel border in Chainsaw Man being the actual like chainsaw sound effect. Love that shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, that was so
Love that
cool. Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
It's just like some little fan servicey things, but it always feels super cool and stylized to me when
Hmm.
artists do that. I'm not an
Yeah, yeah. I
artist, so
feel
I
you.
can't tell you like I love when they use the foreshortening here to like I can't do that. I can just tell you what makes me go, "Oh, that's raw."
Yeah, basically anything that makes me go rock, swag goat, is probably pretty good.
Yeah,
The-
that's a good way to put it. Uh,
And we got a comment recently where it's like Oceans puts in so little effort every week. He just finds like 7 ways to say rock, swag. It's like, bro,
I
I'm putting
mean,
in
he's
effort.
not wrong that it's raw, and swag though. Like, what do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What do you
Also
want,
agree.
audience? The man's spitting truth.
He's spitting. What's the next one?
Let's see. The next one is what current Shonen Jump series with no announced anime do you think will get one next?
Undead Unluck would be my like gut feeling.
Yeah, that was probably the one that I was thinking of too. It feels like it's about old enough. It's probably about popular enough.
Hmm.
Uh, Dark Horse contender, um, Spy Family. It's been
Oh
really
yeah, that's
popular for
true.
a really long time. I mean, it's selling
That's
like
true.
crazy.
That's true.
Um, yeah, I mean that's just I don't know, just another one that I thought might be it. But Undead Unluck, I think, is probably my knee jerk one too.
Yeah, I do think Undead Unlock is just like at the perfect place, and it just recently like started blowing up again a bit because of the price it won. But Spy Family is actually a good point. Like that shit's been selling really well for a while now. So I don't know. Next, yeah, I suppose one of those would have to be my pick because
Yeah.
Mashal is still too young. I think Mashal is not there yet.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, Mashal is about the same age as Undead Unluck. Like, I think it's one chapter lower.
Oh, okay, that's true. That's
But
true.
Mashal, I feel like did not hit its stride as early as Undead Unluck did. And
Mm-hmm.
there's not quite as much content that you can make a series out of yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of Mashal's early stuff is just like comedic nothingness. And so you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
drag that into like multiple episodes to fill up airtime and stuff. Like Undead Unluck just feels easier to make a working product out of.
Yeah, that's true. Because although I suppose it could still be a long time before we do get that Undead Unluck anime, because I think on average, the Weekly Shonen Jump titles need to go for 10 or 11 volumes before they get an anime. That seems to be like the golden area. I remember someone made a graph about it, and it seems like always between 10 and 14 volumes is when the anime gets announced. So, guess we'll just have to wait.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's see.
You
The
want to read
next
the
question. This is a God. This has already been an hour and 45 minutes, and this question is going to take 10 years. How would
Yeah.
you fix Boruto? Canceling it is not an option.
I would put it on hiatus indefinitely.
I would just not make it about Boruto, and I would just make it more about like the last era of them, like older teens to young adults,
Yeah.
and not make it about
Uh,
their shitty kids.
I don't know. I guess one thing. I think the first thing I would do is make Naruto not a depressed dad.
That
Because,
just
like,
hurts. It's like because you look at like all the stuff that Naruto and Sasuke went through, and then Sasuke is like a shitty wanderer who like doesn't even know that what his daughter looks like, and he almost kills her with a sword. And
mhm.
then like Naruto is just fucking depressed and like sad, and I'm like, oh, good. It's a real nostalgia pick me up. Everyone hates their fucking lives, and they have shitty
Yeah.
children that hate them.
Yeah, it's like with Naruto especially, it's like a huge thing about Naruto is that he can instantly connect with anyone. That's like a thing they say like 17 times in Shippuden alone. The idea that he's a dad that doesn't understand his own kids is like it only makes sense if you only consider Naruto's most superficial qualities. You're like, oh haha, he was bratty as a kid, so obviously he's not gonna be able to like take responsibility. And it's like, bro, I watched him grow up because I wanted to see the satisfaction of him taking responsibility and becoming a leader. But I guess I'm not getting that because ooh, we need the shitty new kid to hate his dad. It's like,
Yeah, I think that the problem with Boruto is that the only good characters in Boruto are Naruto era characters, and they're all
uh-huh.
just shittier now.
Yeah. I mean, I still think the funniest thing they did is that they just made Anko fat.
Yeah, why'd they just make her fat? That's it.
Yeah,
That's all
because
they
the
did
thing
to
is,
her. They just
right?
made her fat. Not that
That's
I'm
the
against
thing.
fat characters, but like they didn't even really change anything about her. She's just fat now.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, right, in the first part of Naruto, she was always eating like
Yeah, because
sweet
she likes to
dumplings.
eat the sweets. Yeah.
And that's like the one character trait they considered. Like they didn't consider her like mixed feelings about Orochimaru being accepted into the village back after the war. Like none of that. No, no. She's just fat. It's like that's kind of the problem as well. Like the characters were all just progressed based on like a single trait of them that Kishimoto just assumed was going to be the defining trait into adulthood, which is like people get more complex as they grow old, not
Not less.
simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Like fixing Boruto without canceling it still would mean to reboot the manga because at
Yeah,
this point
I
you
don't
can't
think
save
you
it.
could do anything with the current series like where it is now that would make me okay with it. I
Yeah,
think it's too far
exactly.
gone. I mean, if I were to fix it and I had to keep the premise of like
Mm-hmm.
it's about their shitty fucking kids, I would at least make the old Naruto characters good still.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think that's my biggest problem with it is like the kids are really hard to like because they're fucking kids and they suck. Like
Hmm.
they're less likable, and I know that we're gonna immediately get comments because someone says this shit to me every time I mention that the kids blow. Well, it's not wartime anymore. It's peace, so they get to be more like kids, and like that's great. But I still don't want to read about shitty kids.
Yeah, yeah,
Regardless of your reasoning for why they're shitty kids, they're still shitty kids. So it's like
yeah.
I don't like them more because it's more realistic that they're shitty. Like I don't know, Naruto's kids were kind of shitty too, but like they still felt like determined and they had shit going on. And the Boruto kids never feel like they have shit going on. Like Boruto is the same age they were in the Chunin exams when the Chunin exams were like a big deal. But
Hmm.
in Boruto, it just feels like they're shoo-ins to win immediately. Like you never feel
Hmm.
like they're not gonna win, and the only real conflict is like Boruto cheats, and then his
Hmm.
dad is like, "I'm disappointed in you," and then it's just more like, "Why does Daddy hate me?"
Hmm.
Like, oh God, I don't know. I could rant about Boruto forever, but how do you ruin Naruto in the sequel and then introduce no good new characters?
By being Kishimoto,
I guess
by
I don't even
being
know how much of Boruto to blame him for, man. I don't even know how much of that is his
I
fault.
st- I mean, I still think Boruto was made by committee. Like
I
it
yeah,
just
I don't
lines
think
up
it.
too
I don't
much.
think Kishimoto was like, I am dying to tell the story of Rugrats all grown up, but with Naruto.
Yeah.
Like I
No,
don't think that was it.
like it's just that it just happened too fast. Like Naruto ends, the Boruto manga gets announced like 2 months afterwards. Like the anime ends, the Boruto anime
Yeah,
starts the
God,
week
I looked it
afterwards.
up after you said that of like how soon they announced Boruto after Naruto ended, and Jesus Christ, it was like the same day. It was
Yeah,
like
like
immediately. They were like, "Oh, Naruto's over. Don't you worry. We got this fucking McDonald's Happy Meal bullshit."
yeah, and like all of that just makes it feel like this is just, a calculated move to keep the hype running, right?
Yeah,
Like
just
it's
keep the
just not,
Naruto money train rolling.
yeah, and it just does not feel genuine anymore. Like I
Yeah.
suppose that's the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, how would you fix Boruto? I would simply not look at it
Yeah,
because looking at it makes me sad.
that's fair. All right, let's move on before we rant more about Boruto. Okay, it's all we
Yeah,
do at this
exactly,
point.
exactly.
If you could write a letter to your favorite mangaka, what would you say?
Uh, Hello, Horikoshi. Where is the traitor? Alternatively, hello, Horikoshi. Where is Uraraka's character arc?
Oof. Not wrong, but ouch.
I mean, I don't know. I'm
What is it with
maybe I.
his? He has like a weird fetish for giving her 4 panels of character development after every other character has had the entire arc to talk. She just
Mhm.
pops up at the end and she's like, "Oh man, this is what
Yeah,
I think," and then they just stop talking to her again.
yeah. I don't know what the fuck's
It's
happening with
so
him, but
because
I
I
guess.
remember after Overhaul, they gave her like 1 page of like, I really do want to save people now, not just for the money. And you're like, "Oh, you go, girl," and then they don't talk to her anymore. And
Mhm.
then they did the exact same thing in this fucking war arc. Is she showed up to throw hands with Toga for 2 pages, and now she's gone again. She's your
Yeah, that
female
is weird.
lead, bro. What are you doing?
That is. Oh man. Like I don't know. I guess I would tell him like, hey, like your series means a lot to me, and all the mushy stuff you do when you like something. But also, here's like a list of things I want you to fix because I'm obsessed and also insane. K, thanks, bye. This letter will self-destruct if you do not write 7 Uraraka chapters in like a week.
God, I remember when she was cool. Like when she fought Bakugo in the sports fest. That shit was raw.
Dog,
Super
her like
raw.
the coolest part about her character, which is her wanting to make money for her parents, has literally not come up ever since she introduced it.
Yep, not at all. Even her
That
parents haven't even
shit,
been mentioned. Like, it really does feel like she's one of those people that just got abandoned to. It's the Todoroki Bakugo Deku show now.
Yeah, it does a bit.
And
Like,
now Deku can float without her help. So
mhm.
what good is she even now?
She is the female. He'll get paired up when we get the like end of series time skip, and Deku has short hair and is depressed, and he's like with
They're
Uraraka.
gonna get the Naruto slash Bleach time skip chapter, and Deku's
Yes,
gonna walk out with a dad cut, and he's
yeah,
gonna
he's
be
gonna
like
have.
sitting down, and Bakugo's gonna come visit him, who also has a dad cut, and then like Uraraka's gonna walk out of the kitchen, and she's gonna have like massive boobies because she's older now, and she's gonna have her
Yeah,
little
yeah.
apron and like tea, and then there's gonna be some noise, and it's gonna be a little girl that has Deku's exact haircut comes running down the stairs.
Hmm.
Yep, it's exactly what's gonna happen. He's gonna get Naruto slash bleached. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But yeah, like I don't know. I guess if did get to write a letter, that's what I would do. What would you do?
I would probably just tell Akutami, hey, you did a really good fucking job. I don't think he's necessarily my favorite mangaka, but I think my favorite mangaka doesn't write in Shonen Jump anymore, so probably should use him.
Wait,
Um,
who's your favorite then?
uh, Araki.
Ah,
But
oh
also, what
man,
could you say to that man? That dude's
exactly. Like
fucking insane.
texting with Araki has to be like the most surreal shit in existence.
I would love to like take an afternoon and just be like, all right, Araki, tell me things. And just have him fucking word vomit because that would be the most interesting 2 hours of my life.
Yeah, right? Like he seems so knowledgeable on a bunch of random shit.
Yeah, like he has a whole book he released on like how to draw manga, which sounds
Hmm.
awesome. But then you look at JoJo and it's like this shit follows none of the rules. It's going fucking insane and I love it. I don't know, he's great. But I couldn't
Hmm.
think of anything to say to him. I think with Akutami I could be like, hey, I read Togashi growing up a lot too, and so did you, and I think you're doing a really great job trying to be like
Hmm.
him in your own way. I think it's awesome. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh man. Uh, so one of Araki's like manga editors follows me on Twitter,
That's
and
cool as fuck.
like, huh?
That's cool as fuck.
It is cool as fuck. I actually got to talk to him once. He's a super cool guy. Uh, hey man, if I can ever like poke him a bit and be like, hey, so can I meet the big man?
Please.
Please,
Please.
I just want to hear him like serenade me with random Wikipedia articles.
Yeah, I just want him to come out and tell me what he knows about like plumbing because
He's
I
just
bet it's an
gonna
awesome conversation.
he just comes up to me and he like starts talking about the Treaty of Versailles and its impact on peach farming in the coming years.
Yeah, he's just like gonna sit everyone down and be like, "All right, so here's a Weimar Germany and why it fell," and I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, Rocky, let's go."
Yo!
Yeah, be the most raw retelling of fucking Depression era Weimar Germany.
Yeah. Oh man, he seems like such a cool guy.
He
Such a
does, man.
weirdo.
Like, I don't know. It's part of why I love JoJo so much is I love any series that feels very like genuine and stylistic and special. And I can't think of a series that embodies that shit more than JoJo.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
dude
that's
is
true.
just doing his thing.
He's just vibing.
He is every single chapter of JoJo. That man is vibing to the beat of his own drum.
Ah, he's so great.
All right, let's
All right.
see. Next up, if you could revive any canceled series, what would you revive? I guess with the caveat that it won't get canceled again.
Yeah. Um, Probably Time Paradox Ghost Rider.
Ah, you took mine.
Well, I guess we just agree. That
Yeah,
happens sometimes.
I thought you were gonna say Tokyo Shinobi Squad.
No, as I said, I did drop it. If I brought it back with my one wish, I would just keep
Bring it
not
back
reading
and it
it.
stays dropped.
Yeah,
Ah,
probably.
uh, yeah. I think Time Paradox Ghost Rider was really, really like maybe not special, but it was really cool, and it had such a unique premise that I thought was gonna be awesome. And I think
Hmm.
the outrage against it was so stupid because they never even framed the plagiarism as like a good thing. Like he had
Yeah.
serious issues with it, and it was framed as like so he's doing this thing to to live out his dream, but is it the right thing to do? Is it really like valid? And it feels really like a weak and shitty interpretation of it to say that it was glorifying plagiarism. I don't know, but
Yeah, and I mean it was so polished for like a early Weekly Shonen Jump series. The art was great. It had like a deeply heartfelt emotional moment in like the first chapter. Like when he's when he's having his breakdown over how he's not a good mangaka. Like that shit's good. And it just got fucking axed because the Japanese are weird when it comes to morality in manga. So
yeah,
like
and like I said, like it's never. I mean, even when he does it, he looks at it with the idea of like, is this even real? Like,
mhm.
shit, he's literally fucking like crying about it and stuff. Like, man, I don't know. It's just so weird to hate it forever because you think it glorified plagiarism when actually he like has serious emotional qualms with it.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Weekly Shonen Jump canceled it for the plagiarism thing, but then, has Shimabukuro and Watsuki still in their on their like
Well, I
short
don't think they
pile.
canceled it for that. I think it just got low readership because people were mad at it. And
Well,
so it
yeah,
didn't
but
get any
again,
support.
people were mad at that, but
Oh, but they
you
don't
know,
give a shit about, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, the Act Age guy apparently is not gonna serve any time,
Yeah, I
and is
saw
probably
that.
gonna
He got off the good behavior.
yeah, and he's probably gonna get another manga, as soon as it's all cooled down.
Literally the second page. I'm flicking through Time Paradox Ghostwriter again. The second fucking page of chapter 2 is him screaming, "Oh no, what have I done? It's plagiarized. It wasn't a dream."
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off,
Uh,
audiences.
hey, what can we say? People are kind of dumb though.
Yeah, it feels so weird to be like, "Oh my god, it's glorifying stealing manga," but then like that act age dude molested like 3 underage girls, bro.
Yeah, I mean, people have this weird thing where they will extract the exact wrong message out of something. Like people will scream about how like Attack on Titan is like, whatever, fascist,
Oh
pro-war.
yeah, fascist Nazi propaganda or whatever.
Like the literal entire like point of the last like two arcs that has been like explicitly stated over and over is war is really bad and humanity sucks for bringing it upon itself over and over again until someone finds another solution. It's like how can a series tell you war sucks and your takeaway from it is yeah, so I think this series really loves war.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean there will never be a better example than the guy saying that Horikoshi was drawing Toga being violently raped. Like there's never going to
yeah,
be a better example than that.
that's true. That's kind of poetic almost.
I've never seen a more batshit insane post than that thread in my entire life. Based on one
Mhm.
panel of her getting choked. It was like a super big oh my god, it was so stupid.
We're just getting worked up, bro.
I know. We're almost done too. We shouldn't get so worked up.
All right.
All
Next.
right, the next one. How do you like manga spin-offs as a concept?
Uh, I don't. I just don't. I don't like spin-offs in general as a concept. Unless the series is over, don't write spin-offs. Focus your attention on the main story. Focus on your main canon, and then write spin-offs. And it's one of my biggest gripes with My Hero that Horikoshi seems to be really happy to hand the license to just anyone. Like that shit has like 5 spin-offs now and 3 movies. It's
Yeah,
gonna
he
keep
seems
getting more of
super into
that.
it. Yeah, it's never gonna stop either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of mixed on it. I don't hate them as like a concept. Like I actually really like Dragon Ball Heroes, which I'm sure anyone who likes Dragon Ball that follows me is probably angry at me now that I've said that. I think it's cool. Like it's just alt universe like time patrol shit. Like it's cool. It has no
Mm-hmm.
impact on the main story at all. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
just more completely non-consequential adventures of characters that I like. Totally fine with
Mm-hmm.
that. A vigilante style spin-off, I'm not huge on. Um, because like I said, I feel like a lot of times it's making the actual series worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for me it's about the framing. If it's like straight up a spin-off that has nothing really to do with the main lore, like if it's a Mandalorian type thing where it's like 90% disconnected from what's going on, I'm totally fine with
Mm-hmm.
that. But if it's
Yeah.
vigilantes where it's like this was 10 years ago and you're about to watch All Might fight fucking all for one. Um, I'm not as big on that. I don't want spin-offs that are super tied into the main story.
Yeah, basically, I don't want spin-offs to be mandatory. That's like my main thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
The less important a spin-off is to the lore, the more I like it.
yeah, because that's the thing, right? Like, you brought Mandalorian. Mandalorian is great also because Star Wars has been over for 30 years. Like, they make the sequel movies and whatever, but they're like so far removed, they don't really make a difference for the
Right.
time frame Mandalorian is in. But like, Star Wars is over, and so you can do these things without necessarily making Star Wars worse in hindsight. Although the sequels definitely did try do that, but like with Vigilantes, because it's happening as My Hero is still going on, it's so closely tied in and borrows so many elements that if this keeps going, we're gonna get to a point where Vigilantes is like mandatory reading if you want to understand what's going on in MHA. And
It
just I
already
hate that.
kind of is. Like, you have no idea what that Kurogiri twist was if you don't at least go back and read that flashback arc.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the thing with anime specifically, the more the canon is spread out over different properties, the less like reasonable it is to ask a Western fan to go through all of it. Because like if let's say all the movies start becoming canon, that means canon material for us here is going to take like around a year to come out like consumable at home, which is where most people watch this stuff. In the case of Vigilantes ever becomes mandatory, we have to wait until that shit gets an anime for people who don't read the manga. If the spinoff is in a different magazine that might not be covered by certain apps, that's again just a big fucking oofy.
Yep.
So it just complicates things unnecessarily. Like focus on making a good media product first before you start like digging yourself into a hole with spin-offs. That would be my like lunchbox quote there.
That's a good one, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I grew it myself.
Next
All
one.
right.
Which manga character would you most like to hang out with?
Either Yuji or Deku for different reasons. Like Yuji would definitely be super fucking funny because he just seems like such a nice and cool guy to hang out with. Deku is just a sweet little boy, and I would talk to him about biology because he probably cares about biology because he's into quirks, and quirks are biology. That's my reasoning.
Okay. I don't know that I could hang out with anyone that I refer to as a sweet little boy.
Like, come on.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
I can't believe exposed again. This is like the third
Exposed
time in these 2
again.
hours.
Yuji would be a good one because, like I said, he's a very genuine guy. He's just like funny and fun. I think my pick though would have to be Joseph Joestar, the young version,
Oh.
because shit would be wild. What an hour and a half that would be of just like batshit insane stuff.
You just want to go out and punch cops, don't you?
I do actually. Fuck 12. Are we gonna get in trouble? I'll bleep that.
I mean, I don't know how is that with you guys, like surveillance and shit.
Not good, but they like you to think it's good, so.
Oh, jeez. Oops.
Oh well.
You can just redirect them to me. They don't even know where my country is, so we're good.
Yeah, well they'll go looking for Sweden.
They'll go arrest like Ari or someone.
All right, let's see. The last two. What was the biggest weekly Shonen Jump disappointment in 2020 for you?
Oh my god, what happened in 2020? This year has felt eternal.
Oh god, I know.
Honestly, like just off the top of my head, Build King probably.
Yeah,
right now.
that's a big one. That really sucks. It's not good.
Yeah, that's the.
Apparently, it's popular in Japan, which is unfortunate.
Well, Japan really likes butt jokes for some reason. So.
They do like butts. Speaking of liking butts, am I allowed to say act age in this?
Like that it got canceled?
I mean, not that it got just the entire everything about it. Am I allowed to be like? I mean, I'm most disappointed that the author turned out to be a pedophile. Like, am I allowed to say that?
I think so. I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
Yeah, I don't mean like, oh, I wish I had my manga back, and because I don't care about it, I just wish none of it ever happened to begin with.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, Time Paradox Ghost Rider is up there for me because I was really into it when it was running. I thought
Oh
it was
my
going to
god,
be
was
like special, and then everyone was like, plagiarism, bad, canceled in fucking
oh,
8 chapters.
oh my god, that was in 2020.
Yeah, I think so. Wasn't it?
Oh my god. It probably was, but
Was it not? Am I wrong? I'm
it
pretty sure it
feels
was
way too.
2020.
Let me
Oh,
Google.
okay. So, well, it got canceled in 2020. It did come out in 2019.
Well, okay, then I guess
No,
the
no,
constellation the
no. I'm
cancellation.
wrong. I was reading it backwards. Chapter 1 was May 17, 2020.
Oh, well, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh
So, Time
man, that
Paradox Ghost Rider, the entirety of its existence, the unfortunate events that got Act H canceled, and Build King.
all right. I think that's a pretty comprehensive list, if anything.
And the final question, will the big three
Oh.
ever be replaced, and what are the new big three if yes? So I'm going to operate on what you guys are using the big three to mean, not what it actually means, because it's impossible for something to replace them as the best-selling manga from the year 2000 to 2010, because we are no longer there. Um, but if you mean the headlining three, like, most famous series from Shonen Jump, I don't think those three are even that three anymore.
Mhm.
Like, I think as much as it is my favorite of the big three, I think it's a hard sell to say that Bleach is one of the top three most popular series from Shonen Jump ever. Um,
Mhm.
it's just not accurate. Um, so if you really want to argue like who you think if you want to say the big three based on the three most popular series ever in the magazine, it's One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
just by the numbers, that is what it is. That's not what big three means, but it's fine. So I guess it's asking what do we think the next most popular three series will be? I guess.
Mhm. Mhm.
Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and maybe My Hero. I don't know though because it feels like My Hero is kind of slowing down a little bit, at least to me.
Yeah, that's true, but My Hero does still sell like crazy.
It does. Well, My Hero also has that global pull. I don't even know if Demon
Exactly.
Slayer has the same global pull.
No, definitely not
Um,
globally. It's like people in Japan are crazy for it, but globally it's not that insane. Like Demon Slayer is crazy because its sales are like carried by the Japanese sales, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, yeah. I guess for me it would be Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I think I'd say so because Demon Slayer is Demon Slayer. Jujutsu
Right.
Kaisen is having
You
a
can't
massive
argue with Demon
boost.
Slayer.
Yeah, like Jujutsu Kaisen is having a massive boost right now, and My Hero has what I can only describe as that big three presence, where even if it isn't selling the most, it seems to be very present in Japanese culture. Like if you look even on like Japanese news station or Japanese like pop culture references, My Hero is pretty present. Like you
Yeah,
have theme cafes. Although to be fair, speaking of news broadcasts, Jujutsu Kaisen's boom was apparently big enough that it made news in
I
Japan.
saw that. I saw that
Yeah,
clip, which was awesome. That was a
yeah.
very feel good moment for me.
So I suppose it's those like those boyos right now.
Yeah, I had a
Uh,
conversation on Twitter where someone argued with me that Deku is a household name in the West, which he is not at all, in my opinion. Um, maybe if like anime household name, yes, but if you're talking
Deku.
if you're talking household recognizability in the West, you're talking like Son Goku. You're not like not the protagonist of like I don't even think Naruto is a household name in the West right now.
Depends on the West, because Naruto definitely is here. Like I don't know how it is in the US, but here, like everyone knows what a Naruto is. And honestly, people are starting, like the general people around here at least, are starting to know what an All Might is.
That's an
Like
interesting
I
one
think,
of all of them. I guess it makes sense. He's like the most flamboyant in the beginning, especially.
yeah, I mean, I suppose he's also the most like traditional shonen character, I guess, that you get immediately into your face. Whereas Deku is a lot more timid than like the typical characters that you would associate shonen with. Like, Naruto and Goku were very outgoing characters and they left more of an impression. Whereas, Deku is very much a little fucking nerd.
Yeah, a little dweeb.
Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
exactly. And I think All Might like emulates that spirit more so than anyone else in MHA, especially in early MHA.
Yeah, that's fair. I think in the US, if you're talking household name to like non-anime viewers who are just like aware of the medium existing, but not like
Mm-hmm.
anything about it, you're talking like Son Goku, you're talking Naruto, and that's probably it. I don't even
Yeah.
think like in Europe probably yes, but I don't think Luffy in the States is really there. Um, Yuffie kind of got screwed because he got hit with the four kids bat.
Yeah, yeah, I
Um,
know.
yeah, and I mean if you're talking all anime in the United States, you could probably make a case for Ash Ketchum and Yugi Moto as well,
Oh yeah,
because
okay, that is
Pokemon was
true.
huge over here, and then Yu-Gi-Oh kind of got lucky where it like kind of fell in as like Pokemon 2 Electric Boogaloo for slightly older kids.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and so it kind of fed off of that. I don't know that My Hero is something I would consider. Like I said, for anime aware people, yes. But I think if you were to go up to like some kid's mom and be like, "Hey, who is this fucking kid in this green outfit?" they would not be able to tell you who Deku was. But I think they could tell you who Goku or Naruto was just from cultural. I mean, we had Goku in our goddamn Thanksgiving parade.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, he had a big ass balloon and everything. It was, I think it was Super Saiyan Blue Goku also for some reason.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I remember that video actually.
yeah. Um,
I don't know because like
and Naruto's like
uh
such a weird cultural thing. Of, I mean, I feel like it's heavily associated with being a fucking weeb over here, because it's like the Naruto run is like what everyone knows,
mhm,
um, and that's always associated with being a fucking nerd.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, I just don't think that My Hero is at that point. Which I mean, to be fair, Pokemon, to a lesser extent Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Dragon Ball and Naruto were like massive cultural crazes, like on a grand scale. Like Pokemon Go shut down the country when it came out. Like everyone was playing that
Yeah.
shit. Um,
Okay, but Pokemon Go was magical.
yeah,
Like
dude, that was
straight
like
up.
the coolest week ever. It was like on
Hmm.
every radio show. It was on TV. It was every single person was playing it. And it
Yeah.
sucked too. That's the funny thing. Is like the first week was dog shit. The thing barely worked and it crashed all the time, but everyone in the world was playing it.
Yeah, I remember. I actually downloaded it before it was officially released here in Switzerland. Like one of my friends was dealing the APK for the Android store, and we all like secretly got it, and we were all so proud. Like it was like a day earlier or something. Oh man. But there was something. Yeah, like one thing regarding popularity was I was watching like who was it? Oh yeah, Tim Rogers' review of Final Fantasy VII, who's a man I do not associate with anime. Like that man has probably not watched. I thought he wouldn't have watched anime since like the 80s because he's that kind of guy. And then he like while he was reviewing the Final Fantasy VII remake, he's like, "Oh yeah, Roach is voiced by the guy who does All Might in Japanese, and I think that's really cool because I love All Might." I'm like, "What? You're like 40. You don't like things?"
Yeah, oh man, I'm 10 years away from not having interests anymore. That sucks.
Bro, I'm 15 years away, so. Oh my god. Thank you. I just remembered my birthday's on Tuesday.
Oh, damn, happy birthday, man.
Thank you, man. I can feel my bones turning to dust.
Yeah, are they crumbling underneath you? You waking up with back pain already?
I've been waking up with back pain for a couple of years now. Thank you. I did actually order the premium package.
Oh, nice. You got the deluxe aging kit.
Yeah, my cells started dying way quicker. It's so efficient.
You'll be in
With
and out
this
of here in 50 years, no problem.
with this super efficient new aging kit, I will be able to die immediately after I leave the workforce, not being a burden on the capitalist system that graciously has made me suffer for 50 years.
I would hate to take in God, I think there was actually an American politician that wrote a thing that was like, are old people even worth it because they don't put into the economy? And I'm like, dude, I
Uh-huh.
might kill you. Like, what a horrible thing to say.
Yeah, yeah, I know. We've had our few loonies regarding that as well here.
Oh
It
yeah,
seems like
it
something.
was about COVID. And they were like, honestly, we need to just open up the economy. And I think that most grandparents would happily die for the American economy.
It's like, oh no, the
That's like
economy, bro.
paraphrased, but not by a lot. Like, he legitimately said he thinks that most grandparents in America would consider it their duty to die for the economy so that their grandkids could have a good economy. But it's like, dog, we're going to make $20,000 a year no matter what, even if they're not dead.
Like, it's...
You ain't raised the minimum wage since 1975. I don't think them dying for the economy is going to help us that much.
Capitalism, eh?
What? That's
good old reliable.
I do be loving some capitalism.
It's so funny as well talking to people who are like really into capitalism, and it's like, hey, we can't adopt any other state system. People will start starving in the streets, and I was like, dude, that's what's happening
They
in the
be
global
doing that
south.
now.
Like, what kind of like twisted way do you have to look at this to see something positive in this? It's like every bad thing you say about every other state system is happening in capitalism. You just choose to ignore it because you bribe the media.
Yeah.
We really
Late stage
managed
capitalism is pretty fucked up, bro. If you really think about it.
Bro, I think about it all the time. Not gonna lie.
It's like really fucked up. Just the prospect that like your right to exist is tied solely to the amount of money that you can earn disgusting billionaires is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in general like I've spent most of my 20s getting disillusioned by the whole idea of the right to live, like earning your living. It's like, dog, I didn't ask for this shit.
Yep. At no point did I agree to this contract I am now bound to.
Cartoons,
that sounds
man,
very
am
dark,
I right?
but
Yeah, like anime, am I right, bro? Like,
yeah.
come on, say some.
Yeah.
I'm poking you with like the stick.
We always end up here somehow.
I'm like
I
poking
blame
you with a
Manga
stick.
Ghetto, dude. Ever since Manga Ghetto, we've always ended up on some dark shit with politics right at the end.
I guess it was just like once we realized that even in our silly little cartoon worlds, someone's out there voting for Trump, it was just all over.
Yeah.
Like, Jujutsu Kaisen takes place in the canonical year of 2018. That means Donald Trump exists in there and was elected.
Oh, God.
Unless there was like a big canonical shift there.
Oh, God, you're right. He is fucking... He's the president in Jujutsu Kaisen. Oh, no.
So like...
Oh, God.
All right. Do you think we want to can it here?
Yeah, we probably should. We're about to hit 2.5 hours. I thought this was going to be a short one, but nope. we don't know the meaning of the word. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in this off week. I know that there was no official release, so a lot of this was just us talking, but I hope you enjoyed it. If we did not answer your questions, sorry. We grabbed as many as we could, but as you can see, we already hit 2.5 hours, and if we had too many more questions, this episode would just never end. So sorry if we didn't answer your question. As always, thank you to my co-host for joining. I didn't introduce you last week, and they got really mad at me.
I saw someone say like, "Oh, he's not lovely anymore."
Yeah,
this
he
ship
was
is
lovely
dead.
last week, and this week you didn't even say his name.
I can officially confirm the ship is not dead. We're still sailing, baby.
Still sailing, baby. We're good to go.
Zen.
Yes.
You're lovely.
Thank you. All right, everybody. We will see you next week with the first Shonen Jump of 2021. That's crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully we're starting the year off right. Hopefully everything's good.
Nervous sweating to end the episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.